The Brookhaven Bearcats and the Beechcroft Cougars, two of the premier City League teams, in a neighborhood rivalry that features two of the best quarterbacks in the area. For Brookhaven, it's Marlon Kerner, and Beechcroft, it's Frankie Wilson. Both young men capable of making big things happen on the football field. Both of these teams are projected to win their respective league divisions. Could this game possibly be a preview of the City League Championship game?
From Cougar Field at Beechcroft High School, it's the TV8 High School Football Game of the Week, the Brookhaven Bearcats at the Beechcroft Cougars. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Beechcroft High School. Paul Cox, along with Mark Munch Bishop, as you're just about to hear the national anthem in the background. We have what should be a very good matchup for you tonight. The team that won the City League last year, that's Brookhaven, against the team that a lot of people expect to win the City League this year, and that is Beechcroft. Well, Brookhaven won last year with a combination of speed and more speed.
Well, Paul, I think you've planned this, because I usually sing the national anthem. So Paul Cox said, I don't want to hear Munch sing today and butcher this beautiful song. But let's talk about the Brookhaven Bearcats. There's a couple things in vogue. Ties like mine and quarterbacks like Marlon Kerner, number 11 for the Brookhaven Bearcats, a 3.6 student, 23 on his SATs. But on the football field, Paul Cox, this man could throw the football, he could run with the football, or he could dish it off to one of 4 or 5 backs that'll be carrying the ball. Also, he'll dump it off to Gwynn, his tight end. But keep an eye on the wingback. Steve Ayer, 31, will start, but they'll shuttle their plays in with the wingbacks. You can keep an eye, because usually those guys will make big plays. Now, defensively, Keith Johnson, a tackle, only goes one way, and he's a big guy to watch to see how he anchors the middle of that Brookhaven defensive line. Johnson last year, PC, in the City Championship League, stopped Preston Harrison. We know that name, a young man who went to Ohio State one-on-one from getting into the end zone from 3 yards out, so he's a big hitter. Keep your eyes on him. And Nate Evans, before the game, he had the Bearcats fired up, and they are ready to play tonight.
Well, Brookhaven is 1-1 in the season thus far. Beechcroft, meanwhile, out of the gate very fast with a 2-0 record. They beat a very good DeSales team last year. A name that you're going to hear a lot tonight is that of the Beechcroft quarterback, Frankie Wilson.
Well, Frankie Wilson also wears number 11, so we will be saying 11 an awful lot. But let me tell you something about Beechcroft right off the bat. These 11 guys on offense, they play as a unit. Frankie Wilson may be the big gun, but all the other 10 guys, they're his bullets. Now, they'll run 5 or 6 guys in and out of the backfield, too. They'll run out of a split formation. They'll run out of a wishbone. Keep your eye on John Cross, 99. If he comes in, he's a horse to run in the wishbone. But also, they may split out 3 receivers led by Minifield and Delaney, and he could throw to anyone at any time on the field, or he could run with the football. Now, defensively, the Beechcroft Cougars are a hard-hitting team. They swarm to the football, and it's interesting. A lot of times, smaller teams will do the swarming, but these guys are big, and when they hit you, you know you've been hit.
Well, conditioning is, of course, going to play a big role tonight, because Brookhaven has 4 guys who go both ways. Beechcroft, I believe, has no one who goes both ways. Well, let's hear what the coaches have to say about tonight's matchup.
The Brookhaven Bearcats, defending City League champions, feel that this game will be a very tough game that they must win.
We really feel that them being so close to us and in a neighborhood situation makes it one of those things that we just feel we have to win. And this year we really feel that way, and we think we can play with them, and if we play within ourselves and don't commit errors, we'll be fine. We feel we can win the ball game, but we know it's going to be a tough game. It always is.
Last year, the Bearcats were very fortunate to have one of the greatest running backs in the area, Wilbert Brown. This year, they have a quality quarterback that is not only contributing on the field, but also as a student.
Marlon's just a great kid. We've had a lot of good athletes in our program, and he's probably the type of athlete anybody would want. He has the grades. He's already qualified with the ATC score that the NCAA requires. and he's in our student government and also in the National Honor Society. So he's a school leader as well as a great football player and a leader of our football team.
Beechcroft's 1989 season was a success for the Cougars, going 8-2. They tied for first in the league and just missed the playoffs. Cougar head coach Tom Dunlap has high expectations for this year's team.
Offensively, our quarterback, our skill positions, Frankie Wilson played for us last year as quarterback. Our receivers, Tony Minifield. One of our big strengths on offense, though, is offensive line. They have some experience, some good size, and they've been able to be protecting now for 2 games without any sacks. Defensively, our strength is that we get to the football. You'll always see 7, 8 helmets around every play. Sometimes that over-aggressiveness hurts us, but I think all in all, when you get that many kids around the football, you're going to make things happen.
The Cougars also possess an excellent quarterback in Frankie Wilson, who is a Division I college prospect. He's a threat every time he touches the football, and for Frankie, 200-yard games through the air and on the ground are well within reach.
We're an option football team, and normally we face 9-man fronts, at least 8-man fronts. But with Frankie's ability to throw and run the option, we put the other team at a real problem because they have to make a decision. Do they come up and play his option ability, or do they drop back and play his passing ability? And it's been several years, but we believe we have a real balanced attack, and it's what's been able to help us so far in the first 2 games.
Well, this is a football league weekend unlike none other. Not only are all the high school teams in action tonight, but the Buckeyes get things started this weekend. They're going to play Texas Tech in their home opener. The Bengals and the Jets on Sunday. Am I leaving anybody out?
Roof. The Brownies, baby, and the Steelers Sunday also. Listen, one other thing I want to add is that the Brookhaven coaches told me if a Beechcroft player should get into the defensive backfield, they guaranteed no problem in tracking them down with all the speed back there. So we're going to watch that also as the game progresses.
Brookhaven and Beechcroft. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the kickoff right after this. It's going to be Beechcroft to kick off to the Bearcats. We're set with a kickoff now. It's going to be Brookhaven to kick it off.
And it's 42, Jason Gwynn getting his toe into the ball.
And picking it up at the far end of the field.
Oh, good popping down there. Jason Gwynn also down there. The guy that did kick off the ball and leading the charge also was Fred Farrell. But the Cougars are going to come out and they'll be ready for action. 29 running back to kick that time was Tony Minifield, one of Frankie Wilson's favorite targets, and of course Frankie Wilson, the vaunted quarterback for the Beechcroft Cougars.
Cougars 2-0 to start the season. Coach Tom Dunlap in his 5th year here. He has an overall record of 29-12. Now you look at Tony Minifield coming wide to the near side. At the quarterback is Frankie Wilson. You look for him to throw it a lot. You look for him to run it a lot. He's an option quarterback, and there he keeps on first down.
Oh, power against power that time, PC.
Picks up a couple of yards on first down. Frankie Wilson, also a return man. He's done a lot so far this season. Scored a couple of touchdowns last week against DeSales. 363 yards total offense in a game against Marion Harding.
Let's go! Let's go! Quickly, we'll look at the Beechcroft offensive backfield. Frankie Wilson, the quarterback. Philando Sharp, the fullback. Mark Swearingen, the halfback. Swearingen had a badly sprained ankle last week, and he is not in there at this time. We'll fill you in to let you know who's replacing him.
And Frankie Wilson wants to throw on second down. Throws it a bit high, and it's almost intercepted. Incomplete. Intended for Eric Johnston, a junior wide receiver.
Good defense out there. Once again, the Brookhaven coaches bragging about their defensive backfield, and they showed us right off the bat that they can play. Quickly for Beechcroft on the line, Reggie Jackson. He's not in Oakland. He's playing right here at Beechcroft High School. Josh Arnold's a guard, Scott Moon, the center, Chris Hogan and James Bowman, the tackles.
Along the offensive line for Beechcroft, 213-pound average. So they're pretty good size.
Larry
guys.
Thomas, 33 is in the backfield. He's 5'6", 143. Keep your eye on him. He's a water bug. Oh, picked off!
That is picked off at the 20-yard line.
Charles Henley's going to go, baby!
Sure, touchdown.
Rock it up, baby, Charles Henley. Don Henley knows how to rock it. Charles Henley knows how to make an interception.
Charles Henley, the sophomore, steps in front and picks Takes it off. Touchdown, Brookhaven.
Well, Paul, the Brookhaven coaches, we mentioned this in pregame, mentioned that their defensive backfield is quick, and they also, with the wing, said, hey, they think they can shut down Frankie Wilson and his Beechcroft offense with the backfield. And the Beechcroft sideline is silent right now, Paul Cox. They are stunned. As Brookhaven's drawn first blood, Gary Bias, another one of those soccer types.
And he's on to attempt the point after.
And I say that respectfully. Anthony Gwynn will hold. The kick is up. And it's good.
7-0 is the score.
Oh, my, Paul Cox.
So Brookhaven with the interception returned by Charles Henley for the touchdown. The point after by Bias, and they're on top by a score of 7-0. Just like that, and that is unexpected.
You know, we barely had time to get up here in the booth when that happened. That was on the third play from scrimmage. Frankie Wilson on the first play was stopped after a 2-yard gain by Gwynn, the end. His second pass to the left flat was broken up defensively, and the third play was intercepted, and Charles Henley runs it in for a Brookhaven Bearcat touchdown. I'd like that Brookhaven sign before the game. You can't stop the Haven, Paul Cox. That sounds Alfred Hitchcock-esque, doesn't it?
Sure does, doesn't
Well, I've heard of the Raven. I've heard of we call you the sports maven, but now we got the Haven on the other side of the field. Wearing
looking at Frankie Wilson.
blue and gold.
Back deep, and along with Frankie Wilson is Larry Thomas. And Jason Gwynn, there's Larry Thomas.
He's a good one, but Paul, 5'6", 143, but he's a low to the ground runner. He's explosive. Very rarely does he take a big hit on that small frame. You know, I know Jason and Tony Gwynn's dad is out in the stands today, very proud man, and we've had a chance to chat with him, a wonderful gentleman, also with Ernest Perry's father, so they've got to be proud right off the bat here with only 10:40, with a lot of time still left on the clock, only 1 minute and 15 seconds gone here in the first.
Beautiful night for high school football. It started out as a very rainy day around Central Ohio, but the rain cleared up early in the afternoon, and the field is dry and in very good condition. Field that gets a lot of use here at Beechcroft. Also, soccer is played here, but the field is in marvelous shape, and the kick is down to...
Oh, my! Did Thomas get blasted that time? And you know who did it? The kicker, Tony Gwynn, once again. Oh, my! Jason Gwynn, pardon me, Tony's his younger brother. Jason Gwynn flattened him, Paul Cox. It looked like Buster Douglas knocking Mike Tyson to the mat. Oh, golly, a 20-yard return by Thomas, but he paid the price. You want to see a stocky young man? Look at Scott Moon, 5'6", 192. He's the Beechcroft center. Out of the eye once again.
And Minifield comes wide to the near side. And on the option again, and he is hit as he tried to throw it to Minifield. Frankie Wilson rolling out, and there's Jason Gwynn again.
I was just going to say, I'll give you one guess who was in the backfield that time. Oh, golly.
So far, Brookhaven putting a lot of pressure on Beechcroft, but again, remember now, there are a lot of players on the Brookhaven Bearcat team who go both ways.
John Cross, 99, has checked in at fullback. He's a big young man, 6 foot 230. He was all city last year, so let's see if they go out of the wishbone or if they just go out of the eye with Cross back there.
Could indicate maybe they're going to pound it straight ahead for a while and see what happens. But Cross is in there at fullback. Behind him, Philando Sharp at the tail. And on second down.
Well, they got him in there for blocking purposes.
He's looking deep, and he's got him. Intercepted again.
It's picked off again, oh my!
And that was Steve Ayers who stepped in and picked that one off the hands of the Brookhaven, of the Beechcroft receiver.
84?
I believe it may have been Eric Johnston.
Was that Eric Johnston out there?
That was intended for.
Hold on, last year Eric Johnston was the team's leading receiver. And that was a catchable ball. It stretched him a little bit. I'm sorry, Delaney was the leading receiver last year, but it stretched Johnston a little bit, but still a very catchable football. Second turnover.
It was a good throw. There's no doubt it was a good throw by Frankie Wilson, but
here's a man split wide left, PC.
That ball is right dead at center field, right on the 50-yard line. And there's the handoff to Ernest Perry, and we're seeing the Brookhaven offense on the field for the first time tonight. Ernest Perry.
Well, that's got to fire those guys up the way the defense is giving the ball back to him.
There's Ernest, who wears number 22. Number 21 is Ellis Hudson. Hudson's in there to fullback, and Marlon Kerner, the quarterback, wears 11. You see Mario Mays come in for the play from the bench.
Mays caught a 35-yard pass last week against South. And once again, those wingbacks will alternate with the plays.
And you see Mays take place at the wing along the far end of the Brookhaven line. on 2nd down and 6, and Mays in motion.
Two tight end formation, PC.
And a flag goes as there's a big hole for the tailback, Ernest Perry, and Perry fights his way down to the 30, but again,
that one's coming
down.
back, brother.
Yes, sir. It looks like it. Flags are down back along the line of scrimmage, which was at the 46-yard line.
I do not believe Brookhaven was set that time.
Let's go, dude!
There you see the man in the white hat. If you're wearing a white hat, you're going to be okay, right?
Referee Bo Rugg. The umpire tonight is Van Parks. Ross Brown, the linesman, Rick Cowles, the line judge, and Jonathan Shelton, the back judge. An illegal shift, the initial indication against Brookhaven.
Oh, something that went for naught that time. Ernest Perry on his run ran right out of the grasp of Fred Rondo, 24 of Beechcroft, who was one of those short tacklers back there. Tell me this Brookhaven team isn't fired up. I told you Nate Evans had the guys going.
They are fired up. They got a lot of speed.
Remember, speed kills, and in a case like this, it very well could do it to be. Oh, look at the counter play that time.
That's going to be to Ayers in the counter. That didn't work at all, and he's going to be brought down back at the 45-yard line.
That was snuffed. Good job that time defensively by the Beechcroft Cougars. 45 was the first man in there. That was Hank Patterson. He's one of the linebackers.
And a loss of about 6 in the play, so make it 3rd down and 15.
Well, Paul, that's a tough one because they had punched the ball up about 18, 20 yards upfield on the Ernest Perry, pardon me.
Clock's running with
Ernest and Jason Glenn to be looking for me later tonight, guys. I'll get your names right the rest of the games. Or their dads will.
Terry Glenn coming wide to the near side for Brookhaven. And a quick drop and a pass intended for...
Oh, I want a flag. Yes,
indeed. Be a pass interference call. Glenn, the intended receiver. And there you see... Fred Rondo stepped in on him and apparently made some contact.
Now, Paul, I mentioned to you last week at Whetstone that if I think I see a penalty, I'm not going to be so meek and mild as is my nature, that I'm just going to belt it out. And I was looking for the laundry immediately that time.
Well, the official was right on that one. There was certainly not much doubt about that one. The interference call. And that will make it a 1st down automatically.
You know, Paul, I don't see any ponds out here and any bullfrogs out on the sideline. I don't know what Coach Dunlop was asking for.
Well, that call went unappreciated on the Beechcroft sideline. Ball's at the 40-yard line in Beechcroft territory now. Brookhaven's offense knocking on the door. It's 1st down, 8:29 to go, 1st quarter. Brookhaven with an interception return for a touchdown, leads 7-0. And on 1st down, the give is straight ahead, Perry. And Perry has about 5. That's a pretty good pickup on 1st down. Your offense has a lot more options on 2nd down if you can pick up the big yardage on 1st down.
Well, Paul, what's important on that, they're just going over to the right side. The fullback, the first man through, is the man leading the charge for Brookhaven. Of course, that would be Ellis Hudson. But also, the center and the right guard have to do a real good job on clearing out that side, just making a quick hit so they can get a little inch and get through there.
Perry picked up 6. Here's
another good run.
And Perry had a nice hole on the left side and is up near the 1st down. Looks like he's got it.
But, Paul, the first man down there, now look at the Ernest Perry's left. It's Ellis Hudson, the fullback. Now, 21 is not that big, 5'9", 172. But he knocked one Cougar down, and he was looking for someone else to pop, PC.
And Kevin Rankin, the man in motion, also threw a block on that play. Quick injury timeout by the official as Brookhaven's all set to go.
Oh, tell me those Bearcats are not fired up.
Oh, yes. No doubt about it. The ball is marked on the 29-yard line. They can smell pay dirt again.
Hey, what TVH sure looks great to me tonight. Paul Cox live from Beechcroft Stadium, Cougar Stadium.
Split way off the ball, but the give is going to be straight ahead to Perry. And Ernest Perry, the tailback, taking it down to about the 25.
Well, I'm going to tell you how strong Perry is that time. He had number 44 and also Big John Cross 99 holding on to him. He kept his legs pumping. He dragged those two guys at least another 3 or 4 yards. Cross goes 230. And Harrison, the linebacker, goes 195. Perry on his own only goes, wait a minute, this can't be right. 5'10", 159? That is a strong young man.
And now
Turner's got the
Turner's going to roll out. He's going to be at the 20, and he's dragged down and out of bounds at about the 17, but not before he picks up the 1st down.
Great open field sideline tackle that time by Sean Harris, one of the defensive backs. He's 5'8", 165-pound junior, but you hit it on the head, PC. 1st down.
Well,
Brookhaven.
Marlon Kerner, we talked about him in the pregame. 4-4 in the 40, but Look at that 3.6 grade point average.
23 on his SATs. Definitely Marlin the Magician. They're also in biased field goal range here now,
That's
so they
right.
should come away with some points. 1st and 10 for the Bearcats.
And from the 17-yard line, make it the 16-yard line. There's a flag on the play as the give goes to Perry. And Perry bursts his way through the line over the 10, but again, the flags are thrown back in the backfield.
Paul, number 44, Tyrone Hairston, is just besides himself. Now, he fits that mold like Tom Perry did last year, those hard-hitting Beechcroft linebackers, and Ernest Perry's just squirting right through there and powering past these guys.
Well, the initial indication is against Brookhaven, so that's going to move the Bearcats back.
Ed Temple comes out along with Sean Harris that time. 2 more substitutions on defense for Beechcroft, and you hit it on the head, PC. Brookhaven going back the other way now.
Well, the illegal shift is again the call, and that's 2 penalties against Brookhaven, and both of them have been for the illegal shift. But still, it's 1st down, 1st and 15. And again, Brookhaven has done a pretty good job tonight of picking up the yardage on 1st down. Ball is back just outside the 20-yard line. Looks like it's on about the 22.
Jason Gwynn checks out, something you don't see too often. Uh-oh, big play, Mario Mays back into the lineup
Sure
for
is.
Brookhaven.
He's wide to the far side, and Terry Glenn wide to the near side. They've not thrown to those wide outs yet.
Kuttner wants a quick hitter.
But he will now.
Oh,
Terry
look at
Glenn.
that pattern.
Good move away from the defender. 5-yard line.
my,
Touchdown. Terry Glenn, the touchdown. Brookhaven is on top by a score of 13-0.
Oh, Terry Glenn showing once again, as we pointed out, Brookhaven goes 5 or 6 deep in that backfield. He just shredded defenders left and right. He left Eugene Mackey just standing there looking for somebody to hit. He was already gone by the time Eugene had a shot at him.
So 6:29 to go. And Gary Bias will try to make it 14-0 on the hold by Tony Gwynn. Good snap. Squib kick, but he got it through.
That's what counts.
Well, he cued that one through the uprights. But how about the Brookhaven Bearcats jumping on top by a score of 14-0 with 6:29 to go in the 1st quarter?
Paul, I knew this was an important game when we got here. Of course, I saw you here. You know, I'm just here parking cars before the game, and I'll have to watch Coach Miller's and Dunlap's cars after. But I see Steve Blackledge here from the dispatch. I see the King Brian Rapp here from SNP. And PC, you are here, the ultimate ruler of high school sports, so you know what's happening. 14-0 Brookhaven. We're in the 1st period. We'll be back right after this.
We're back at Cougar Field at Beechcroft High School. There you look at the shocking 1st quarter action, 14-0 Brookhaven.
Paul, quick question. Marlon Kuttner takes 2 steps back. Jason Gwynn is not in there to block, so you're losing a blocker there. Why was one of the defensive ends for Beechcroft out there in the flat covering against the pass? It makes you wonder.
Well, obviously Brookhaven is doing something right on offense as far as the selling the fakes goes.
Hey, Wilbur and Orville, I don't know about that, but they're definitely doing something right here today.
And a squib kick
Look
on
at
the
that,
kickoff.
Brookhaven's going to get the football. They got
Yes,
the
they
football.
did. That was an onside.
Pinch me. I think I'm sleeping.
Was that a planned play?
It had to be, PC.
Usually with an onside kick, you're just kicking it to reach maybe 10 yards beyond that 40-yard line.
Paul Cox, I am scanning the crowd here on the Beechcroft side of the field. They're grabbing their heads. They have no idea what's going on here today.
Well, Brookhaven's got the ball back again, and in Beechcroft territory, the ball is at the 37-yard line. There's your scoring drive, 50 yards on 7 plays, 8 up 346.
Well, now's the time for the Beechcroft defense to stop the Brookhaven Bearcats and let their offense go to work. Hey, Frankie Wilson is too good a quarterback. He's got too many weapons to be kept silent the whole game. He's going to come back, but he's got to get the football to do it.
And so far, he has not had the football very much. Thrown a couple of interceptions. And straight ahead it goes to Perry, and there's a flag going down in the play, but Perry picks up pretty good yards straight ahead on 1st down.
Well, I think that might be a face mask that time. The way it was thrown into the middle of the pile. No, a hold against Brookhaven. Well, I was going to say that was my second choice.
That's a tough call and a good save.
Now, you know, I'm not trying to put you on the spot with your missus, but you're not smoking those Swisher Sweets anymore, right?
No, sir.
I'd like to point out that my general manager from QFM 96, Tom Tone, him and his lovely wife, Kathleen, I hope the kid gets all her looks, had a son today, Sean Tone, and he gave me a stogie. Yeah, I might torch that one up after the game.
All right.
Just for looks, though, on the way home.
Little Red Auerbach victory
There you
cigar.
go, babe. For the best team, and that's who should win tonight. Good to see Carol Reese back in the booth with us today. We call her the silent assassin. You know, she doesn't say much, but if we step out of line, uh-oh. Do you have your whip with you, Carol? She left it at home.
48-yard line is where the ball is after the step off for the holding penalty, and Marlon Kerner is going to go down for another couple of yards lost back at midfield.
Paul, sportsmanship. Look at that. 45 and 44, the two linebackers, Hank Patterson and Tyrone Harrison. After they blasted Kerner, they helped them up. But you know what they're saying? Hey, we're not out of this game yet. Don't count us out.
Well, Marlon Kerner's got a lot of speed, and right now he's going against a fired-up Beechcroft defense. High formation in the backfield on second. There, 21, as you saw on your screen. Quick drop for Kerner, and that one was almost intercepted. Well overthrown, intended for Steve Ayers.
Paul, is that one of those patterns, though, where Ayers ran an in instead of an out? We never know.
It kind of looked that way because the pass was definitely thrown toward the sideline.
You know what? It's funny. I look at these helmets for Brookhaven with the cats on the side. Do you remember the All-Star game when Darian Gooch from Franklin Heights and Wilbur Brown changed helmets? Darian Gooch was wearing the Cats helmet, and Wilbur Brown had the golden falcon on there for Franklin Heights. You know, another good game going down in the Southwest today, Grove City and Franklin Heights. And I think it may be payback time for Grove City. Franklin Heights winning against Grove City the last 3 years.
3 or 4 in a row, that's right.
Yes, sir.
Well, Grove City's got an awfully good football team again this year, so that ought to be an interesting matchup tonight. On third down and 21, Kerner rolling back, looking to throw deep, does, and it is good.
I don't believe
Touchdown by Terry Glenn.
Oh, my! Webster Slaughter lives at Beechcroft High School.
He took it right away from Fred.
Oh, my Webster!
He took it right away from Fred Rondo.
Paul Cox, you're staying too calm. Have you ever seen a catch like that?
Oh, not certainly at the high school level.
Oh, my!
Absolutely stunning catch.
Some yellow shoes. Get that orange spray paint over there.
That is a 48-yard pass play coming on top of a 22-yard pass.
And Paul Kerner drew a perfect tight spiral. Bias to attempt the extra point again.
I think he missed that one.
No!
No, he didn't. It's through there. And that makes the score an unbelievable 21-0. Brookhaven. Everybody was expecting Beechcroft to really have a fairly easy time of it tonight. But again, we're not out of the first quarter yet. All these fireworks, and still 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Marlon Kerner, and not bad on the day. 2 for 2, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Terry Glenn once again personifying how deep this Brookhaven team goes. Coach Dunlap trying to get his defensive coaches there into shape and get everybody into position because Beechcroft was caught definitely looking the last time Brookhaven kicked off.
Well, Tom Dunlap's teams have only lost 12 games at Beechcroft High School. He's in imminent danger of losing number 13. Unless his defense can get on the field and stop this Brookhaven offense. But the best way to stop the Brookhaven offense is to keep it on the bench, perhaps.
Both times Terry Glenn was the wingback coming in with the play.
And both times the play went to him. But Terry Glenn has done some wonderful things with the football today. On a previous reception, he just ran away from the defender, ran a route right around him.
Quick total yardage check, Beechcroft 2, Brookhaven 92.
And the kick is going to come down to Larry Thomas. And look at Thomas coming up the middle. Thomas has got a big hole. One man to beat. It's Gwen. And Thomas might go all the way.
He's going to go. He's out of the foul. Oh, they're coming back. They're rocking and rolling at Beechcroft.
Out of bounds at the 3-yard line, perhaps the 2.
And Steve Ayers, the wingback, caught him. An 83-yard return for Larry Thomas. And that man can fly. Paul, he busted that right up the middle.
Yes, he did.
Nothing fancy about that. And you know what? The most impressive thing was the little juke move he put on Jason Gwynn, who's, I rate Jason Gwynn as one of the top 5 tacklers in Franklin County.
Yes, sir. Well, Gwynn was out there with a good position on him, but Larry Brown.
I'm going to warn you now.
Made the moves. Larry
If you
Thomas.
got a medical condition, you may not want to watch this game.
So 1st and goal to go from the 3-yard line, and right away.
Wilson is pelted.
Yes, he is. I thought for a minute perhaps he didn't have the ball because the fake went up the middle first of all.
Jason Gwynn and Nate Evans there in a hurry.
The fake went up the middle to the fullback, and he was tackled by 2 or 3 Brookhaven Bearcats.
Oh, no, this is exactly last year in the City Championship League game where Keith Johnson stopped Preston Harrison from this yardage there. So Brookhaven awful tough in close. Awful tough.
So on 2nd down now, wide to the far side, will go Eric Johnston.
I think Frankie's going to take it himself, roll left. Oh, mix up on a handoff.
Yes, sir. And the give went to Sharp. And Sharp found not much running room at all. Perhaps got it back to the line of scrimmage. He may have driven for about a yard. We'll see where they mark it after they unpile the players. It's going to go down to just inside the 5-yard line. So make it 3rd down, goal to go from the 4.
Donnie Myers, one of the linebackers, was over there. Now, Donnie Myers also plays some offense, too. He's 5'9", 176-pound junior. Well, I still like Frankie Wilson on that keeper around left end. He scored against the Sales on that last week.
Mark Hairston checked into the play. 3rd and goal, again from the 4-yard line. I formation in the backfield.
49
right through the middle to Mark Hairston. And Hairston was brought down short of the goal line, down at the 2.
Nate Evans is over there.
So it's going to be 4th down, goal to go. Ball spotted on the 2-yard line.
Also, Ron Cunningham was in on that stop. He's a 6'2", 251-pound senior. Oh, he's an offensive lineman, too, so they got the bodies down there. Bodies by Peterbilt.
As you mentioned now, John Cross sometimes plays fullback, while John Cross is in the lineup right now.
He's in there with Larry Thomas, the young man who ran the kickoff back.
Wearing 99. There's Frankie Wilson on the call now.
It's Frankie around left, PC.
Frankie's looking to
we
throw.
Called it.
Is he? He's throwing into the end zone. It is caught, or is it incomplete? No signal.
Touchdown.
Yes, caught. Touchdown.
Brilliant catch.
And that was Minifield, I believe.
Brilliant catch by Minifield. Yes.
Tony Minifield with the catch on the far side of the field.
Paul Cox, that ball was knocked up in the air. Frankie Wilson had to throw across his body because he was running out of real estate. You know what? Brookhaven had that play stuffed nicely. They kept Wilson from cutting into the end zone, and I know we'll get another look at that one. 51 Zeller.
Steve Zeller, senior, 5'8", 165, kicking for the point after. And that, somebody got a hand on that one because that is no good. So the point after attempt fails, and the score will remain at 21-6. But that's 21-6 with still some time to go in the 1st quarter. So we have a very long way to go yet tonight at Beechcroft High School. Brookhaven and Beechcroft, 1st quarter.
Those Beechcroft fans were just holding their breath that time because it looked like Brookhaven was going to hold. There's no doubt about that.
And almost did. Last-minute play. Last-ditch effort, you might say, by Frankie Wilson, flipping the ball into the end zone to Tony Minifield, who made a fine leaping catch of it.
That reminded me years ago in a Raider-Patriot playoff game, Kenny Stabler, the Stake, falling down, kind of shuffled one towards the end zone that was snatched by Clarence Davis.
They all count.
Oh, they sure do, PC, especially if you get the pig in the pen.
That counts just as much as your 70-yard touchdown pass.
But Larry Thomas set that one up, no doubt about it.
He sure did. Larry Thomas's 83-yard kickoff return.
Well, Paul, there you see it took Beechcroft. I thought that was 4th down, so I'd have to say 4 plays for 4 yards, 2:36 on that.
Beechcroft set to kick off. Still 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the 1st quarter. And Zeller gets the foot into it. And that one may roll out of bounds. It does at the 30-yard line. Now the question might be, did Brookhaven get a hand on it? If so, I believe they will have the option of either taking it there or having them kick over.
And they're talking it over on the field.
Referee Bo Rugg explaining the options to the Brookhaven side. You can see Beechcroft's all set to kick it off again, but I don't believe that the issue has been decided yet.
63 Larry Reese over there chatting with the guys in the stripes.
All right, they want him to kick it over again, and they will. But this time from the 35-yard line.
Steve Ayers is one of the set men deep for Brookhaven. Paul, I can't make out the other young man.
Steve, a little bit tough from our vantage
Might
point.
be Charles Henley.
Looks like it is Charles Henley.
Oh, look at Ayers.
Really got the air and got the foot into it that time.
Ayers lost the football.
At the 20, 25, 30, and down goes Ayers at about the 32-yard line.
Good.
And there are flags again down on the far side of the field.
Good sure tackle by Lamar Cromwell that time, number 20 on the specialty teams. That will be a 22-yard return if it holds.
Let's see if we can get the initial indication here.
Blocking below the knees.
Yep, illegal block. So the penalties are beginning to mount on Brookhaven now. They've had a couple of procedure penalties, but now a holding penalty, and now that penalty.
Well, Paul, I'm a firm believer that I love that rule because I'd say 99 and 9/10 of the time it is not a malicious thing, but you've got to block above the knees because the knees are so vulnerable. You could take somebody out, I don't care what level it's on, pee-wee, high school, college, pros, in a second there with those blocks just the knees are below. Oh, that's treacherous. Unfortunately, there's been some offensive linemen in the NFL that make their living blocking that way.
Yes.
Fortunately, one of them's a major sports announcer now, making in major bucks. Doug was a snake all his career, and the guy gets in the booth. Let's get back to the action.
All right. Ball marked at the 17-yard line. Now again a flag.
I don't think Brookhaven was set again unless it's encroachment by the defense. The flag did come from one of the line judges, though, PC.
Yeah, they lined up offside. So they're going to move them back 5 more yards.
They make it 1st and 15.
That's right,
which
first
is never
and 15
pleasant.
this time. Now again, Brookhaven has not had a lot of trouble tonight with first and long situations or any long situations because they've converted them all. They've scored every time they've gotten their hands on the football.
Brookhaven penalized now 5 times for 40 yards.
No punch yet tonight, but still, we're in the first quarter.
Look at Perry.
And Perry, pretty good yardage. Out beyond the 15-yard line, he picked up about 6 or 7 on first down.
Looks like 42 Warren Ball was over there in a hurry to help make a tackle. He had some help from some of the other lads too, Mike Simon and Sean Harris.
Plays in from the bench. Make it 2nd down and 9 as he picked up 6 on the play.
Well, Ernest Perry's impressive. I still don't believe he's only 5'10", 160 pounds.
Yeah, he runs like 5'10", about 220.
Oh, look who's in motion there. Big play made.
And there's Perry again. And Perry, good yardage again. Out
No, that
near
wasn't
first
Perry,
down.
Paul. Perry
Nope.
was blocking. You saw him leveling some people. Carrying the football that time was Marlon Kerner.
Absolutely.
Now look at this, Paul. Good job by Marlon. Where are we fooled up here? Oh,
Good
look at
fake.
this. He's just
Excellent.
going to follow the stack right into the line. Now look at Ernest Perry. He clears out one man there. Good leg tackle that time by one of the Cougars down on the ground.
This is marvelous fake from Perry.
3rd and 1. What do you do, PC? Give it to Perry?
Let's go,
Why not? The Cougars yelling on the sideline.
Oh, he's got it.
Perry's got the first down. And Perry is out near the 30-yard line.
Let's see who gets up off that pile. 44 Hairston, the linebacker. And also David McCarter. Now look at this, PC, over that right side. Oh, they like to run. Oh, look at that. Look at the blocking by the backs in there. That's Hudson 21 throwing a block. Also 31 Steve Ayers throwing a block. It's like they have 10 linemen out there.
That's right. They've done a good job tonight.
And they're going on the right side, too. Keep an eye on that.
Terry Glenn wide to the far side. The fake to the fullback, and Kerner.
Oh!
Kerner hit hard, but not before he picks up about 5 yards in the play.
25 put a lick on him, Sean Harris. But you know what? Kerner jumped right back up
He
and
sure
headed
did.
right back to the huddle.
Tough
my.
guy. Now watch Kerner get this pop here.
This time they're going to run left. Now Jason Gwynn's out there. Now look at him side. Oh, Paul, that's how you got to run the option. You got to be able to cut inside. He got leveled. Good clean hit, though.
Well, as we were watching the replay there, the first quarter has come to an end, but what a first quarter it was. 21 points for the Brookhaven Bearcats, 6 points for the Beechcroft Cougars. We'll be back with quarter number 2 after this. What a fun-filled first quarter here at Beechcroft High School. Brookhaven on top by a score of 21-6. One of those touchdowns set up by an 83-yard kickoff return. We had a 48-yard touchdown pass, a 22-yard touchdown pass. Just
and
unbelievable.
That's the Beechcroft bench you hear in the background extolling their defense onto greater heights. 2nd and 4 for Brookhaven.
And Brookhaven with the ball as we begin the second quarter.
Oh, fumble on the handoff.
Trouble on the snap. And down went Marlon Kerner to fall on the football.
You're right, Paul. That was on the snap. He didn't even get it handed off that time.
That's right.
And I'll tell you what, that's not going to happen too often, those exchanges between Martine Reed and Marlon Kerner.
So lost a couple of yards in the play. Make it 3rd down now and 5.
Paul, keep your eye on 44, Tyrone Hairston, the linebacker in the middle for Beechcroft. It seems like he's starting to take control a little bit defensively and trying to start to move the people around a little bit there on the line.
Well, maybe the shock is beginning to wear off a little bit for Beechcroft now. On 3rd down, pitch back goes to Perry, looking for a block now.
Oh, strung out nicely.
Yes, strung out very nicely and brought down Ernest Perry right along the line of scrimmage.
Now, Paul, we're going to credit number 40 with that tackle, Albert Diggs, one of the linebackers. But the man that made that happen is 25, Sean Harris. You're going to see it right here. Sean Harris is going to keep it from going anywhere. Now, look at a good job of pulling out there. But Harris, 25, was the man that was stringing it along all along that time. Chuck Andrick, the right guard, was pulling nicely, but Beechcroft swarmed to the football. Uh-oh!
And trouble with the snap on the punt.
Oh, he's got a man
It's
open.
going to be a 1st down. How about that? Another free play works for
Unbelievable.
Brookhaven.
That was to the tight end, Kevin. Was that Kevin Rankin? No, that was Sean Harris.
Sean
The man
Harris
usually
with
plays
the catch.
defensive end.
Now, there is a flag, though. There is a flag down.
Now, let's see what happens, PC. It looked like Steve Ayers took his eye off the ball. Good pressure that time by the Beechcroft Cougars. I'll get it out. And there's Sean Harris. Going to rumble upfield. Now, there's definitely not a clip there. Just some good blocking.
There may have been a clip there near the end of the play, and it's going to move the football on the step-off back, well, inside the...
No, Paul, they're not going to call it a clip.
30-yard line.
An eligible receiver.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's pretty hard to tell on a play like that who's eligible and who's not, huh? Well, you know what? Of course you have to be an eligible receivers downfield because they're going down the block to cover the punt. Albert Einstein, I may not be, but I'm better looking than he is.
And Ayers gets off a rocket. Driving Wilson deep. Wilson fumbles. He'll go back and fall on the football.
Alertly falls on it. Oh, Paul, we've seen everything today.
That's the first time we've seen one of those freak plays called back tonight, though. Well, I guess we have seen everything now. Well, we haven't seen yet a defensive lineman pick up a fumble and rumble in for a touchdown. Maybe we'll see that.
Paul, that happened last week for Brookhaven against Sutton. I'm going to get these B's right before we come out. I'll have to call them Cougars and Bearcats. That way there's not a double B there. 1st and 10 for Beechcroft. Let's see what they can do on offense now with Frankie Wilson. 2 men split left.
And man in motion is James Delaney as Wilson rolls out looking to throw. That one is almost intercepted.
Paul, you almost had that knockdown because that was by the lineman. I believe that was Sean Harris.
It looked like Sean Harris who got the hands up.
Big number 82. And if he catches that ball, he's in for a touchdown.
Right. And he's a guy with good hands because he also doubles as a tight end.
Paul, good play that time because Beechcroft had 2 guys split left, so Frankie Wilson wanted to send the flow the other way where there was less defenders, but it just didn't happen.
Minifield and Johnston wide to the near side on 2nd down and 10 with 10-10 to go in the second quarter. Wilson rolling out to throw over the middle. Got a man. That is Johnston. And Johnston hit hard. But he's got the 1st down up near the 35-yard line.
Paul, that was number 9. Number 9, Anthony Gwynn, doing his thing. He's only a sophomore. Another one of the great Gwynn athletes. Now look at Frankie Wilson set up. Oh, does he throw a pretty football? Johnson right in the middle of the field, number 82, looking for some running room. And now look at this. Oh, it was a sandwich. It was a Johnson sandwich. Number 20 also putting a hit out with Charles Henley.
Charles Henley, who also has an interception tonight. So it is 1st and 10. First down play for Beechcroft. And Wilson wants to throw it under some pressure along the
Oh, good
sideline.
defense. Great defensive play over there tonight. Number 30 on the sideline, Donnie Myers, a linebacker. And that's what happened. Donnie Myers was on number 84, Tommy Cochran. Now, Tommy Cochran used usually just a block. But Myers got over there in a hurry, and that's what the linebackers do, cover that tight end. Because if you're going with 2 tight ends, the strong safety is going to take 1. Profound?
Profound. Showing great football.
You look
now.
worried tonight being out there with me.
You got the finger on it tonight, buddy. 2nd down and 10. Again, the receivers come wide to the near side, but Wilson has yet to throw to the near side of the field. On this series, looks like he is intending to this time, and does. And
oh, beautiful pass!
down with it, inbounds, and shoved out of bounds at midfield.
Now another ferocious hit by Steve Ayers that time, but the bottom line was Frankie Wilson threw that football. Paul, that is a pro-type pass. He threw it over his man's head. Now watch this. He throws it over the defender's head. Now I say this respectfully because this way the guy's got to go up to get it with his hands. That's how you're supposed to catch a football, not with your body. There you go with the hands and bring it in. But he threw it right over 2 defenders. He like set the ball in his hands.
He sure did.
That was superb by Frankie Wilson.
Couldn't have been better if he'd gone out there and handed it to him. Now the call, the initial indication, is against Brookhaven.
Paul, there you see number 50 out there. There's Scott Moon, the center, 5'6", 192.
Roughing the passer.
Oh!
There, as a matter of fact, you got to hear Bo Rugg call it out.
And Paul, only on TV8 are you going to hear those calls from the middle of the field.
So that is going to give Brookhaven, Beechcroft rather, a good break, taking the ball over midfield. Puts the ball at the 48-yard line, and Brookhaven, Beechcroft, is in Brookhaven territory.
9:30 left in the first half.
For the first down as Delaney goes in motion.
Oh, fumble!
On the handoff. Big scramble for it. Looks like Beechcroft, Brookhaven rather, may have come up with it.
Let's keep an eye on the monitor.
Yes.
White ball, yes indeed he do.
Brookhaven football.
Well, 54 and 71 are over there. Let's get a look at that. That's Fred Farrell and also Keith Johnson.
Oops.
Oh, Larry Thomas just loses the ball with a good handoff. Jason Gwynn is there too. I think 61 ends up with the football. Andy Nice. That wasn't so nice for the Cougars that time.
And so the Brookhaven Bearcats are back in business, this time inside.
Oh, I'm looking for
territory.
Mr. Phelps out there. Mission impossible. Should Beechcroft accept it not to have a turnover?
This has been a very strange football game so far.
Beechcroft had their first down of the game in that drive.
And in motion, there's a give to Perry, and whistles just as the handoff was made.
Kevin Rankin was in motion that time. I think he might have cut, no, I'm sorry, that was 31 in motion that time. Steve Ayers might have cut upfield just a little too soon.
Yeah, it looks like the initial indication is going to be a false start. And you may be right. He may have cut upfield just a bit too quick. No, that was
No,
nothing.
he did it. Had to be one of the linemen. That's a good offensive line, too, for Brookhaven. I'll point them out to you. Marquise Reed is the center. The guards are Chuck Andrick and Nate Evans. The tackles, Wallace Seeley and Ron Cunningham. I'll tell you what, Cunningham's good size out there, 6'2", 251. Definitely no relation to Richie Cunningham.
So the Brookhaven offense continues to pick up penalties tonight. They picked up all 21 of those points with the benefit of only 2 first downs. So the penalties really have not been that much of a factor yet for Brookhaven, but you have to feel that they're going to come into play sooner or later. 7 penalties for 60 yards.
Brookhaven has to get a drive going here, PC. I know they're up by 15 points.
And Kerner wants to air it out deep.
He's got a man!
Caught.
What a catch! Mario Mays! Big play Mays! Oh, Lord have mercy!
Mario Mays came down with that long pass from Marlon Kerner.
Paul, he beats 2 men. He beats Sean Harrison. He beats Eugene Mackey. I think Mackey's playing more of a linebacker type spot. He's listening to the defensive end.
Tremendous catch right at the 20-yard line.
Now, that was Warren Ball out there, 42 on him. And these kids are tough for Beechcroft. They're superb. A 33-yard pass, play, and catch.
So, first down, Brookhaven. Perry.
Oh, is he running hard?
And Perry down to the 15-yard line. And Perry picking up about 3 on first down.
Oh, he is running real hard.
Brookhaven 1-1 coming into the action tonight.
Well, his fullback's not that big. I pointed out Ellis Hudson, only
Right.
5'9", 172. But that time they ran it on the right side of the line, and there is some size on their right side with Chuck Andrick, the right guard, and Cunningham, the right tackle, 251.
7:46 to go, first half. Brookhaven knocking on the door again. The man in motion is Terry Glenn. There's Perry looking for running from outside. He got the corner turned. He is down. It is a touchdown, Brookhaven. And at this time, no flags. It's a touchdown, Brookhaven.
You know, one of the Cougars tried to take a shot at Ernest Perry as he was all the way to the back of the end zone. That's who you see Ernest Perry talking to here. Now, Paul, he blocks it there. The wingback Ayers that time was lined up on the right side. Look at him pushing him. And he steps out of an arm tackle that time by number 40, Albert Diggs. Now, look at a young man from Beechcroft come up here along the sideline. He had already passed him taking a shot there. Ernest Perry, impressive.
Very impressive, and very impressive the way that Brookhaven was able to move the ball down the field. And the point after attempt is good, so Bias has his 4th point after tonight. And it is 28-6.
Well, Paul, I saw both teams on the field before the game. This field's a very fast field. It's as hard as a rock. It's very dry. The grass is a little long, but the players like that. They can bear down on it. They can cut on it nicely. Beechcroft very workmanlike before the game. Very, very deliberate. Brookhaven very emotional, and we're seeing that emotion here early in the game. I'd have to say, right at this point in time, Marlon Kerner, number 11, wants to be the premier quarterback on the north side of town.
It's certainly looking that way. You know, we talked about before the game about how Brookhaven, a lot of the Brookhaven players are going both ways. I see no signs yet of fatigue. Emotion can overcome fatigue to a great extent, and that's certainly what's going on tonight.
And you'll see the scoring drive, 47 yards, 3 plays, 1 minute 45 seconds. Ernest Perry's 5-yard run for the touchdown, and Bias headed the pass.
Well, they certainly wasted no time moving the ball downfield after the fumble recovery.
Well, Paul Cox, we talked last week. Steve Blackledge is down there shaking his head. Steve, what'd you put in the water tonight? He's not quite certain what's going on. Of course, Steve and Ray Stein cover high school sports for the Columbus Dispatch. Superb fans of the game. These guys know their stuff.
Frankie Wilson.
That's why I think I'm getting a little bit of knowledge here. I hang out with you. I know guys like Steve Blackledge, Brian Rapp, Ray Stein.
Shallow kick. And a big scramble for it. Big scramble, and Brookhaven have come up with it again. Yes.
Oh, my, Steve Ayers has the football.
Brookhaven football. Steve Ayers came up with it. There he is.
Call 911. Do something if you're on Beechcroft side of the field. Oh, my. And Larry Thomas having a tough time with that one. Let's put the AC on up here, PC.
Well, the kick came down to Hank Patterson, and Hank just couldn't come up with the football.
I go to church on Sunday, so I know I haven't gone downstairs yet.
Ball's at the 28-yard line.
Paul, I look for Brookhaven to try to put this one in the end zone on the first or second play. The way Kerner's throwing the football.
He has been able to throw deep tonight, and he has had his receivers able to get deep tonight and get loose.
Hey, did you get to eat tonight?
Didn't get to eat tonight, so you're going to have to do it.
I got to tell you something, brother. The Nados did us righteous once again. Northland Plaza, you can check them out, 2769 Northland Plaza Drive, 895-0111, or north at Tamarack Circle, 1891-846-8411. They sent a deluxe pie over, I swear. I'm going to tell you something. I chowed it down all by myself, bro. I stashed a couple pieces for you.
Hey.
And you didn't get any?
No, not yet. I'm gonna be rummaging through your briefcase at halftime.
This is good stuff. Donato's Pizza, thanks for taking care of that TVA crew and for giving Munch all the power he has.
Well, there's one of those couple of those stunned Beechcroft High School fans.
That looked like a Texas Tech fan made a wrong turn there on Carroll Road.
Well, Texas Tech, of course, in town for the Saturday home opener for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
A full football weekend, as we mentioned at the outset. The Buckeyes open up their season this weekend. So do the Bengals and the Browns, all of the NFL teams in action, except, of course, for the Monday night game. And so Perry trying to take it outside.
Treatment that time. 41 over there escorting him down to the turf. 42, pardon me, Warren Ball. Defensive back on that side of the field.
That was Charles Henley instead of Perry on the carry. So it could be they're giving Mr. Perry a little bit of a rest.
Well, let's see what happens here. Nothing fancy. Fake to the fullback. There's the halfback, Carlos Henley. Oh, he tries to sidestep a man. Good job that time by number 42, Warren Ball.
Kerner wants to throw deep. It is knocked down. Excellent defensive play by Fred Rondo, who's been beaten a couple of times tonight. But Rondo, that time equal to the task, got high in the air and knocked it away from the intended receiver, Steve Ayers.
Oh, that was the pass I figured first or second play. They tried to put it in the end zone. Fred Rondo was equal to the task that time.
Well, you called that play for sure, and the pass was basically on target, if not for a good play by Rondo.
Beechcroft 4 turnovers so far this evening.
3rd down and 9 for Beechcroft, for Brookhaven rather, in Beechcroft territory.
Well, Brookhaven would like to punch this one in too. 6 minutes and 53 seconds left in the half of the 28-6 ball game.
28-yard line. I formation in the backfield as Kerner wants to throw again. Got
Good
some
rush.
pressure this time though. Now throws on the run into the corner of the end zone and throws that one away. The only man who was out there with the possibility of getting to it was Mario Mays, but Mays was covered.
And Paul, Mario Mays is limping off the field. No, now he's going to sprint off. I think he just turned something that time. And Paul, you know who's back there on the defense once again? Fred Rondo. He's not getting no rest in that defensive backfield. Or without using double negative since I went to Ohio State, not getting any rest.
Did you see the arm on Marlon Kerner? Impressive. On the run, he threw the ball about 40 yards in the air.
Easily. And Paul, if you're going to throw it, do it like he did. Don't have a chance to hit your guy. Make it look good and throw it over his head.
That's right. Well, they're going to go for it. Nothing to lose on 4th down. Receivers wide to the near side, into the far side. It's Steve Ayers. At the top of your screen, you see Jason Gwynn.
Quick drop.
And he wants Ayers, and
Oh!
right through Ayers' hands at the 15-yard line. And that would have been very close to a first down. Would have been a first down, as a matter of fact. Ayers just couldn't come up with it.
Tyrone Harrison did a great job, 44, getting over there from his middle linebacking spot. And another catchable football, PC.
Well, you see Ayers looking at his left thumb, which was taped up, so maybe that gave him a little bit of trouble. So the Beechcroft Cougars dodge a bullet. After the fumble recovery on the 28-yard line, the Beechcroft Cougars now get the football back again with plenty of time, 6:41 to go in the first quarter. And there have been plenty of fireworks tonight. 28-6 is the score. Brookhaven on top, and what has been a total surprise thus far.
You sure it's not the 4th of July?
And
Oh,
over
that's
the middle,
trouble
Wilson's
for
got a
Brookhaven.
man. That is Manyfield, and Manyfield has got some room to run. He's all the way down to the 40-yard line before he's rolled out of bounds.
Paul, I'm trying to figure this one out. If we could see that again. Now, 24 finally made the tackle. Lentwan Smith, the linebacker. But there are 3 Beechcroft receivers wide in the open in the middle of the field. Frankie Wilson's like shooting ducks in a pond. And you give Frankie Wilson receivers like this. Now, Paul, watch this down here. Wilson throws another beautiful pass. You got 3 guys wide open for
Sure
Beechcroft. Oh, they split the zone that time. Look at Minifield. Change hands with the football. Tuck it towards the sideline. Lentwan Smith's finally going to catch him.
Well, that may have been flooding the zone. There's no way you can cover 3 receivers in one zone, so one of them has to be open. There was a give straight ahead. And flags down the play. Philando Sharp, no running room, but flags down along the line of scrimmage.
Sean Harris leading the charge offensively that time. Nate Evans, 61, Andy Nice.
Clock is stopped with 6:10 to go.
Well, that was some rough going that time.
I tell you, both teams came to play tonight, and Brookhaven, despite the fact that a lot of their players go both ways, they're still in there. They're still hitting.
Well, Paul, we can tell you the guys going both ways this evening. Jason Gwynn, playing defensive end, also tight end. Nate Evans, a nose guard, and we do have a score at 28-6, 6-10. We'll be back after this.
Well, it's been a bit of a problem here for Brookhaven, for Beechcroft rather. Frankie Wilson just sacked for about a 7-yard loss after a 5-yard penalty moved it back. Let's watch the sack.
And, Paul, that's a big offensive line. Now, 66 wants to get out and pull that to get some blocking in there, but that's Jason Gwynn. He just blows by everybody. And 31 over there to come up with Steve Ayers. Our buddy, watch out, Steve. You got to watch out for those flags when you're jumping on Frankie when he's on the ground, especially those Division I prospects.
2nd and 25. Wilson wants lots of time.
Oh, brilliant
Complete
catch.
pass to Eric Johnston, but Johnston is down at about midfield, and that's still going to mean it's going to be 3rd down and about 18.
Eric Johnson out there making a brilliant catch.
Well, it's been a lot of fun tonight to watch 2 great quarterbacks, and let's watch Wilson again with a deep, deep drop.
Look at that. Frankie had some pressure on him that time, too. But does he throw a beautiful football? And that was good defensive coverage that time.
Yeah, you can see why Johnston might have been the leading receiver last year because he's got great hands.
You know, I haven't seen James Delaney either into the action yet, 89. Now he's splitting two men right. It's Johnston and Tony Minifield.
Correction, James Delaney was the leading receiver for Beechcroft last year. Delaney has caught a ball tonight, and Johnston's caught a couple. Now look at all the receivers wide to the far side. Well, they better hurry up and get a play off here.
They've got Tom Cochran, and he's a blocking tight end, and they need some blocking on there on the line.
They get it off in time. Again, there's Minifield.
Oh, right off the grass. I think they're going to say the ball hit the ground first, PC.
Now, wait a minute. Looks like they're going to call that a completed pass. It is a completion.
He caught it, but then the force of the ball took it to the ground, and then that's what would be down. Let's see. You make a call on this one, PC. Help me out. His knee touched the ground to get to the football.
He got the knee down. There you go.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Great catch.
He was on his knees when he caught it, and as you say, great catch, but still not enough for the first down.
Paul, you talk about a pro-set offense. 3 men running patterns that time for Beechcroft. 3 guys sprinting down there.
It's been a sophisticated offense tonight for Beechcroft. Unfortunately, it's only gotten them 6 points.
One thing to remember, too, Beechcroft will run a wishbone, but I don't think you're going to go into the bone when you're down 22 points.
4 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first half as Beechcroft has called timeout.
Oh, you want to talk about rivalries? TV8's got them all. Beechcroft, Brookhaven this evening, and next week, the Cardinals of Worthington. Bob Seaman's last season at the helm. The last season Worthington High School remains a whole before they break it up to East and West at the Upper Arlington Golden Bears. John Ness, B.J. Thompson, Bo Swanson. Paul, we got a battle on our hands next Friday night, only on TV8. You're going to see that one.
And Dwight Pickens. We'll see Demetrius Stanley again. What a great team up there in Worthington. I believe both teams have won both games to start off the season.
Upper Arlington running roughshod over a very, very fine Eastmore team last week at UA. That Eastmore team is a very good City League team.
After running roughshod over what's a pretty good Dublin team,
yes,
too.
Indeed. A very strong Dublin Shamrock team. You know, Kajana Carter out again.
Yep.
Broken pinky. He's got a cast up to his elbow. They say at least 3 weeks this time. I've heard rumors up to 6.
And possibly the rest of the season.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
Got to hurt the young man's chances somewhat for an attractive scholarship offer. We'll hope he'll get back in there and be able to do something as a senior. He picked up in the one game that he was able to play, he picked up close to 100 yards.
Yes, South struggled the first game without him against Waterson. The second game against Dublin, they were creative and innovative offensively. But, Paul, I hear Ohio State coaches are still drooling over the prospects of landing Kajana Carter to play.
Kajana Carter can obviously play. Picked up 1,700 yards last year. 4th down and 5 now. And Wilson looking to throw. Now looking to run, perhaps.
Oh, Jason Gwynn's going to bulldog him.
Got him by the shoulder pads, and down he goes.
You know, if Jason Gwynn had a brand, Frankie Wilson would be wearing a Bearcat on his hind end that time. Oh, my. Jason Gwynn showing no respect for Frankie Wilson. Now look at Frankie. He's going to look left. He's going to roll. He's taking a very deep drop, Paul. So now when he runs, he's nowhere near the line of scrimmage yet. Now he's just about hitting the line of scrimmage, and Jason Gwynn's going to wrestle him down. Oh.
So 4:16 to go, and that is lots of time for Brookhaven to move the football.
Paul, I think I see the ghost of Tyrone Abington out there playing linebacker for Brookhaven.
Terry Glenn wide to the near side as the give goes to Henley. And Henley's more or less straight ahead, picks up a couple on the play. Brookhaven with the football and a 22-point lead. 28-6 is the score, and that is not the way that any of the so-called experts thought this was going to go tonight.
Paul, I want to tell you about that offensive line once again. Wallace Celia tackles a junior. Evans and Reed, the guys at Garden Center, are seniors. Chuck Andrick, the one guard's a sophomore. And the other tackle, Cunningham, is a junior. So they're young, but they're right now dominating the line of scrimmage against Beechcroft.
Gwen wide to the far side. And Kerner wants to keep, and Kerner is going to be sorry that he did. Down he goes.
Sean Cross, big play that time by number 99, the first man in there. Also number 40, Albert Diggs, one of the linebackers.
And so Albert digs Kerner a bit of a grave back there, make it 2nd down, and make that 3rd down and 7. Ball's at the 38-yard line. Really one of the first 3rd and long situations tonight that Brookhaven has been faced with.
2 men split, one wide on either side of the field.
And Kerner wants to throw, puts it up high along the sideline, and it is caught.
Oh, what a catch!
Nope,
They
incomplete.
say, is that a bounce?
Well, it looked like he came up with it, then he went down, and on the way down, the ball came out. He had it for a while.
That was Steve Ayers. Oh, my. Kerner was the master of that touch pass out there. Oh, golly.
He laid it right in there, didn't he?
Paul, I'll tell you what, that's a debatable face masking penalty against number 42 on defense that time. That was Warren Ball, defensive back.
It was right in there. And
A flag could have been thrown.
Yeah,
if your back goes to the quarterback while that ball is being released, it's trouble.
You have to wonder if maybe Ball got a hand on the ball after the catch.
Warren was definitely on the ball that time.
Just barely got it away. And it'll come down to Frankie Wilson. Now Wilson
His
got a
knee
knee down at the 26-yard line, so they'll blow it dead right there.
Oh, a lot of excitement here, PC. 2:42 left in the half, 28 for Brookhaven, 6 for Beechcroft.
Well, I'll tell you, you never know what's going to happen. We may have 2 or 3 more touchdowns before a half.
You know, you've got 2 good offenses, 2 good defenses, and still all this is happening here tonight at Beechcroft Cougar Stadium. 37-yard punt for Ayers.
And Manyfield coming wide to the near side.
I formation again.
2.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Frankie Wilson's going to be putting that ball in the air, PC.
And Wilson along the sideline. Manyfield incomplete. Manyfield got a hand on it, but it bounced off a little bit too high, a little bit too hard.
Number 9, another one of the Quins over there, Tony Gwynn. Paul, I'll tell you what Frankie Wilson's doing. He's running those sideline patterns and putting the ball a little high. Maybe he's a little gun-shy about the interceptions earlier in the game, but he wants to make sure that nothing is being picked off, and the worst that's going to happen will be an incompleted pass. Remember, the great Woody Hayes used to say 3 things could happen if you pass the ball. 2 of them are bad. Frankie Wilson's eliminating one of those bad things.
Well, both of these quarterbacks are not only very skilled, but they're also very intelligent. 2nd down and 10.
Running the option.
And Wilson finds a pretty good hole, picks up about 5 or 6 on the play.
Good pursuit by the Brookhaven defense. He was actually dragged down from behind that time. Jason Gwynn on another tackle.
This, by the way, is the most the Brookhaven team, the Beechcroft team, rather, has been scored on this year. Their 2 previous games, they gave up just 1 touchdown to each of their opponents.
You know, Paul, besides Abington, my memory escapes me. Brookhaven had another brilliant defensive back last year. Maybe we'll come up with that name before the end of the game.
I hope we will. I do remember Wilbert Brown, however.
Look at Frankie Wilson again
And
on the left
Wilson
side.
got the first down, and more besides. He's up near midfield.
Now, Marlon Kerner is in the game in the backfield, PC, number 11. He made the tackle that time, but, oh, golly, I don't know if you want your quarterback back there playing that much ball both ways. He's going right out of the game now.
That's right.
Now look at Frankie Wilson. Nothing fancy. Thinking run all the way. He steps inside here. Now look at this. He shreds an arm tackle by number 20 like it was a leaf by Charles Henley. That's Marlon Kerner down around his ankles.
And Wilson wants to throw again on 1st down. Got some time, and over the middle, but incomplete. It was intended again for Tony Manyfield, but that ball was thrown about 5 yards in front of Manyfield.
Good drop that time by the Brookhaven defense. 22, Ernest Perry. 31, Steve Ayers, and also Tony Gwynn were all there covering. Tony Gwynn's a free safety, so he has to be there, but Perry is a cornerback, and Ayers is a strong safety, so they had it covered nicely. 2 men to the short side of the field.
And on 2nd down with a minute 21 to go, 1st half. Ball just outside of Brookhaven.
Oh, look out!
And down he goes.
Oh,
Gwynn
Jason
got him.
Gwynn again! Welcome to the jungle, baby.
And Jason Gwynn puts him down at the 41-yard line.
Paul, no one touches Jason Gwynn. Where does he come from? Oh, he beats the blocking tight end number 84, Tommy Cochran, and we hate to single people out. Oh, he blew right by him.
It was right there for everybody to see, that's for sure.
You know what, Gwynn, you can't block him on his shoulders. He comes around you. You got to square up and get him in the chest or he's by you.
That's what he tried, and Gwynn beat him cleanly and got right to Wilson. I'm sure Wilson has not been hit that hard very often this year.
How do you spell defense? Jason Gwynn. It's Jayson. You think Friday the 13th, Jason was a nightmare. It's here for Frankie Wilson tonight, baby.
3rd down and 18. And he's going to complete a pass to Sharp.
Oh, look out from behind!
But Sharp is going to be belted down from behind, and there's that man again, Jason Gwynn.
Uh-oh. Oh, my. Friday Sunday, September 7th, Part 1. Starring Jason Quinn. You don't need a hockey mask, baby. Put a football helmet on him.
38-yard line is where the ball ended up, and
We've got some Beechcroft fans backing up here. No, folks, don't leave yet. You got a whole game in front of you, at least a half.
yeah, a long way to go yet tonight. Well, that is going to be the end of the half. Time has now run out. And a shocking first half of action here at Beechcroft tonight. 28 for Brookhaven, 6 for Beechcroft, and a lot of people would have expected it to be exactly the other way, but it's not. Brookhaven has struck tonight after a couple of fumble recoveries, an interception return for a touchdown. The breaks have really worked for the Bearcats tonight. We'll tell you more about it at halftime. We'll be back after this. We're back after a shocking first half here at Beechcroft High School. Brookhaven on top by a score of 28-6. Brookhaven won the City League last year. Beechcroft, a lot of people think might win it this year, but tonight it's looking like Brookhaven. It's been all Brookhaven. A shocker.
Well, Paul, Brookhaven in the blue division, Beechcroft in the red, and here are the stats. First downs for Brookhaven, 8. Beechcroft, 4. Yards rushing, 66 for the Bearcats, 6 for the Cougars. Passing, that's Marlon Kerner, 3 of 8 for 103 yards. Frankie Wilson, 7 of 15, a little bit more controlled passing for 73. There you see the total yards, 169 to 79. There you get the pride of the Cougars doing their thing at halftime. A few individual stats to toss in there. We'll get to those in a second. Beechcroft has been penalized 2 times for 20 yards. Brookhaven 7 for 60. No turnovers for the Bearcats. That's a big one. The Cougars 4. Time of possession 13-17 to 10-43. Once again, in a game like that, it don't mean much. Now I'm going to tell you about rushing for Brookhaven. Mr. Perry, 9 carries, 47 yards. Beechcroft, 6 yards rushing total. Frankie Wilson's carried the ball 8 times. Philando Sharp once. Mark Hairston once. And Frankie Wilson, we told you about the passing. 7 of 15, 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions. I guess he threw for 2 touchdowns because one of those went for a touchdown for Brookhaven. And Marlon Kerner, 3 for 8, 103 yards, 2 touchdown passes. My quarterback can go 3 for 8 anytime he wants with 103 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, Beechcroft turned the ball over 4 times in the first half, resulting in a total of 21 points for Brookhaven. Brookhaven struck first with an interception return by Henley. It was in the neighborhood of 30 yards. I didn't get that down exactly much, but anyway, it was a touchdown return by Charles Henley.
It happened so quickly.
Yes, it happened so quick. There we go. 31 yards. Thank you.
Dr. Detroit, Tony, one of our stat men, and of course Tommy Boom Boom Hume, the other guy over there, also known as John Stitt.
But that started at the 10:45 mark of the first quarter, and the point after put them up 7-0. Then just about 4 minutes later, Brookhaven had gotten it back after a fumble recovery, and Kerner a 22-yard pass to Glenn. And then just about a minute and a half later, it was Kerner with a 48-yard pass to Glenn, Terry Glenn. And by that time, with 5:05 to go in the first quarter, the score was 21-0 Brookhaven. And Beechcroft has been trying to struggle back into the game ever since. It is 28-6 at halftime. What do you do to get back into a game like this?
I wanted to point out, too, Beechcroft's score, I mean, they worked hard for that score, but they were very lucky. It was on 4th down, and Frankie Wilson pretty much tossed a desperation pass out there, and it was a brilliant catch made by the receiver. Paul, if you're Beechcroft, plain and simple, number 1, no turnovers. No turnovers whatsoever. That'll get you back in the football game. Also, you have to have a couple possession drives without those turnovers. Move the ball down the field at least the first or second time you get the football. Frankie Wilson's going to have to be a little daring, throw the ball into the middle of the field a little bit because he's got guys open.
He sure does.
He's going to bring the ball down a little bit, and I think he may have to mix up the running game just a little bit more also, get a couple other guys in there in the action.
The possession drive is something that hasn't really happened yet tonight for Beechcroft because their only touchdown was set up on an 83-yard kickoff
and
return.
Defensively, too, Beechcroft has to stop the big theatrical play. It's showbiz time for Brookhaven, baby.
That's right. All right, it's halftime at Beechcroft. The score 28-6. Brookhaven back after this. Beechcroft will kick it off to begin the second half. Brookhaven to receive and leading by a score of 28-6. And if you just joined us, it was a really explosive first quarter. Brookhaven leading 21-6 at the end of the first quarter, 28-6 at halftime. Beechcroft, or Brookhaven rather, taking advantage of Beechcroft turnovers to punch the ball into the end zone 4 times.
Ernest Perry and 31 Steve Ayers will be back to receive. Steve Zeller's kick. Zeller is a senior place kicker and kickoff man for the Beechcroft Cougars. He wears number 61. He's 5'8", 165 pounds. Getting ready to tee it up.
On a very pleasant fall, well, they make it a late summer evening here in Columbus, Ohio, on the north side of Columbus. We're at Beechcroft High School, up just north of 161 along Sharon Woods Boulevard.
The first time the TV8 cameras have had a chance to grace this part of town.
Right.
Also like to welcome our viewers on Warner Cable 1. Always a pleasure having them around, and sometimes we are some of them.
Steve Zeller to kick it off, and he'll kick it deep to either Steve Ayers.
We'll just say Warner Cable in case they slide us down the dial there.
That's right.
I'm not getting into any trouble tonight, PC. I'm going to be a good boy.
Zeller getting it deep. Perry fumbles, picks up at the 15, and out he comes.
Paul, sometimes a fumble like that will buy you some time.
It sure might have. He's going toward the sideline.
Oh, Fred
and
Rondo
down
saved
he goes.
it. Fred Rock and Rondo doing his thing that time. Paul Cox, I'm going to tell you what happens. You fumble the football. You know what? The guys covering the kickoff, they don't look at the player anymore. They look at the football. You pick that ball up and can get by him, and you scored 38-yard return that time. Ernest Perry, we're going to see if we can get a look at, oh, yes, look at this. Only a TV8 are you going to see stuff like this, man. This is the big time. Ernest Perry picks the football up at about the 16. Oh, he just busts right through there. Breaks an arm tackle, breaks another. Oh, good block down there by one of the Cougars. One of the Bearcats on the Cougars. We'll get them straight. And we're back to the live action, Paul.
And play goes to the far side of the field. Give, I believe, to Hudson on first down.
It's Ellis Hudson, the 5'9", 172-pound junior. Ernest Perry on the season so far averaging 30 yards a return.
That ball is marked on the 40-yard line.
Heck, he'd have gold shoes if he was doing that on the season.
Marlon Kerner has gone all the way at quarterback for Brookhaven.
Out of the eye again.
It's that quick drop, throws it up high, looking for Jason Gwynn, right through his hands.
You are not going to see that happen too often, Paul Cox. Jason Gwynn brought Brookhaven back against the Sales to push the game into overtime with a one-handed catch. That might have been just a little too routine for Jason out there. Now look at that, Paul, right through the old breadbasket that time. Oh, that's not an easy one, though. Rondo was getting ready to make the tackle.
That's right.
Oh, Fred Rondo's getting worked over out there. That young man's got to be tired.
Well, you know, sometimes that ball that comes straight over your head, as that one did, is a very tough catch.
And Rondo's coming out to cover the man split to this side, Terry Glenn, that time.
On third down, it's going to be Perry.
Oh, look at Perry, the big run.
And Perry's up close to the first down, down close to the 30-yard line.
Oh, he was battling for the stick that time. I think he's going to be just a tad short. I wonder if that's going to warrant a measurement. The blue and gold of Brookhaven against the yellow and brown of Beechcroft. Let's see where he runs this time, PC. Is it going to be against the right side of the line? Oh, he's following Ellis Hudson once again. He picks his holes nicely. He breaks 2 tackles there. Paul, once again, that's a strong young man when he has a full head of steam. 4th and 1.
Big play, and it's going to be Perry again, no problem. You want yardage on 4th and 1? I'll get it for you. First down, Brookhaven.
Paul, I want to tell you something amazing. They're running behind Cunningham. Now, he's a big young man, number 73, Ronnie Cunningham, 251. But the right guard on that side, Chuck Andrick, 174, only a sophomore, but they're showing how well conditioned these Brookhaven players are because they're quick, but for their speed and size, they're strong, and that makes you a little bit stronger when you got that speed behind it, too. Not like guys like us, we're lame ducks, you know, we're just sitting there.
Well, when you got the good moves, you don't have to sustain that block as long, so that's a big key, too.
Oh, very impressive line for Brookhaven tonight. Dominating play.
First down, Brookhaven. High formation in the backfield. Looks like somebody may have...
Oh, Kerner on a keeper!
Kerner right through there. I expected to see a flag, Munch. I looked up, and somebody was gone off the far side of that line a little bit before the snap, I thought, but no flag.
Mark Harrison reacted quickly. Paul, I'm going to tell you what happened that time. Beechcroft only set 3 down linemen. They had 4 defensive backs, and I think they were messing around with 4 other players, linebackers, one of the ends moving back a little bit. Kerner saw that and just took advantage of it, shot it right up the middle.
Well, Kerner, very smart quarterback, and he's shown us thus far tonight. There's Perry. And Ernest Perry more or less straight ahead, strength on strength. And the Brookhaven strength pushed the Beechcroft players back, the Beechcroft line.
I am totally impressed. Marquis Reed, the center, 63 leading the charge that time. They're just pushing the people straight back. That play looked like it would be just a no-gainer at best, and sure powered it for over a yard.
Making it 3rd down and 3. Brookhaven 1 for 4 on 3rd down conversions.
Oh, this would give them some confidence as they're marching down the field.
And quick timeout being signaled for by Bo Rugg, the referee. Little equipment problem, it looks like, for one of the Beechcroft players coming off the field, Tyrone Hairston.
45 checks in quickly, Hank Patterson.
Problem with the helmet strap, apparently.
Where are they, Paul? About the 23-yard line.
About 23 on 3rd down and 3.
Big conversion attempt here for Brookhaven.
Man in motion. And the give is going to be to Perry. Perry looking for a little bit of room.
Look at that cutback!
On his feet, he's down close to the 1st down. Good move by Ernest Perry. And he's got enough for the 1st down, Ernest Perry.
What a brilliant run. Now look at the cutback here. He's in traffic cutting back, TC. Oh, finally wrestled down. Good, strong tackle at the time, but he's leaving people in their boots.
Well, Brookhaven showing us tonight they had a lot of good backs who played in the shadow of Wilbert Brown.
I was just going to say, Wilbert whom?
Yeah, that's right.
No, Wilbert Brown, one of the best we've ever seen.
And
Look at
Kerner's
Kerner
going to have
again.
to keep. Down the sideline he goes. He is in.
Oh, Marlon
Touchdown,
Kerner.
Marlon Kerner.
Weaving his magic on the field of Cougar Stadium this evening for Brookhaven.
You know, that looked like a broken play, possibly.
11-yard run for Kerner. Oh, I know we'll get to look at this one again. Let's see if it is, PC. Marlon Kerner, shirt tail out. No, Paul, I think he wanted to do that because he stuck it in the gut and pulled it right back out. And no one is going to catch him. Number 90 giving chase there is Eugene Mackey. 28 was Eddie Temple.
And it is Gary Bias on to attempt
He's been
the punt
perfect
after.
so far tonight.
That's right. There's Anthony Gwynn with the hold, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. And Brookhaven is back on the board. Brookhaven on the board first here in the 2nd half to make the score 35-6.
Oh, they're drawing blood when they touch the football, whether it's offensively, defensively, or on special teams. The Brookhaven Bearcats. A tribute to the Bearcats, PC.
That's right. Well, the Bearcats that time sustained a drive.
Paul, I want to point something out. Not only that, which was important because most of their, like I mentioned earlier, their plays have come on theatrics. Big plays, not to say those are bad, those are superb, but now they showed Beechcroft, gave Beechcroft something else to think about if they didn't have enough things to think about. But Paul, the main thing I want to point out here is this is a wonderful, wonderful Beechcroft team.
That's
Now,
right.
last week we saw Watterson put it to Whetstone. Whetstone may be hurting a little bit this year. You know, they don't have a quarterback with Puffy Randall out. But this is a brilliant Beechcroft team.
That's right.
And Brookhaven right now is manhandling them.
They can roll up the yards, though, and in big bunches. But Brookhaven, on the other hand, has played well on defense this year.
The sign said it at the beginning. You can't stop the Haven.
Now, this has got to be a real shock for the Beechcroft defense. The Beechcroft defense has held its first 2 opponents this year to 6 points apiece and take away the turnover touchdowns. And Brookhaven has still managed to mount a couple of drives for touchdowns tonight.
Oh, I wonder what's happening with the East-South game this evening because Mr. Doug Smith has those East High Tigers all fired up again.
It'll come down to Larry Thomas, and Thomas has had a long kickoff run back. That one's not going to be so long. It'll be out to the 35-yard line. Not bad field position for Brookhaven.
Fred Farrell, the first man down there, a 6-foot, 174-pound junior on the specialty teams. 18-yard return for Larry Thomas. And we've got a scoring drive coming up for Brookhaven. There's Marlon Kerner signaling touchdown. 41 yards, 7 plays. They ate up 352. Marlon the Magician Kerner's 11-yard run doing his thing for the Bearcats. Oh, they're putting people all over the place and running out of the eye here as Frankie Wilson brings us to the line of scrimmage.
And Frankie Wilson and the Beechcroft Cougars are really in a hole now. The give is going to go to the 2nd man through.
Perhaps Larry Thomas back there in the eye tonight. Yes, it is Larry Thomas. He got slammed to the turf.
Yes, sir. Larry Thomas is a sophomore.
I guess you'd have to credit the whole interior of the defensive line on making that tackle.
That was a youngster with a great future, though. Look at what he's done on returns tonight. Picked up well over 100 return yards. Larry Thomas has obviously got some speed.
Nate Evans, 50. Oh, Nate Evans putting some pressure on Wilson.
And Wilson completes one, or was it dropped? Let's see. Let's wait for the ruling on the near side. And that is a catch by Tony Minifield.
Paul, Nate Evans wrapped Frankie Wilson that time, number 11, as he released the football. But Minifield hung tough and made the catch. Now, I wonder if we're going to be on Frankie Wilson long enough. Oh, yeah, he got hammered. But Minifield, they're running those sideline patterns to perfection.
And that was a first down for Beechcroft. So Minifield now will go wide to the far side.
Oh, the Cougars need a score here.
Ball moving out near midfield. Ball is spotted at about the 47-yard line.
Paul, now I know we're important, and I'm going to tell you why in a second.
Thomas.
Oh,
He's
nowhere.
Back at midfield. He got a couple of yards in the play, but not that much.
Eric Harrison, first time we've called his number tonight, number 33 for Brookhaven, a 5'10", 170-pound junior linebacker was over there. Paul, you know we're important. Like I said, we had Brian Raff here from SNP, Steve Blackledge from the Dispatch, but now John Patterson, the general sales manager at TV8, has graced our presence in the booth, the man from the Windy City who's just taken Central Ohio by storm. More games like this, I'll tell you what, baby, we're going to have to raise our rates for these spots on the TV8 high school football game in a week. Oh, my, this is heaven.
And it is complete again. Philando Sharp down with the ball, and he's down near another first down.
Oh, one thing I want to point out to correct myself earlier, I said I thought Frankie had to turn the ball up into the middle of the field a little bit more, but the way he's running those patterns, he's looking good moving the team up the field. But those are the patterns sometimes that someone could overplay you and pick off a pass and shoot down the sideline. So he's got to be careful on them, but he's working them to perfection.
They're going to bring the yardsticks across the field. That's very close to a first down. We'll just have to wait for the measurement. The way most high school fields are marked, you don't get hash marks, as you can see right there from that shot, and it's very difficult. It makes it even more difficult to tell what's a first down and what's not.
They're short, PC.
Short by, what would you say, about 2 feet? It's like about a half a yard. So let's call it 3rd and 1 with 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go, third quarter.
Frankie Wilson now has completed 7 of his last 9 passes for 78 yards. Thanks once again to the stats team from TV8. Paul Cox, once again, like I mentioned to you, we show up and we talk a little bit. If it wasn't for all these wonderful people back in the truck, sitting up here in the booth with us.
Oh, believe us, we're just the tip
We'd be
of the
like a
iceberg.
running back without an offensive line,
That's right.
baby.
Frankie Wilson has passed for 254 yards in his first 2 games, having another good night tonight.
6:30 left in the
And
third
he
quarter.
needs
35-6, Brookhaven on top, PC.
Beechcroft 1 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. This is a short version, and there is encroachment. They jumped back.
You know who that was that time? That was 24, Lenthwan Smith, the linebacker. He thought he had the cadence down that time, but Frankie Smith had him fooled. As you see, Lenthwan was frozen there in the twilight zone, you know, trying to get back in time. Well, that'll pick up a first down for you.
Well, you know, even though they did pick up the penalty, and that enables Beechcroft to pick up the first down, it still indicates the desire on the part of the Brookhaven team. And you don't do that if you're tired. And you don't do that if you're dispirited. Of course, how could you be dispirited when you're up by 29 points? It's 35-6.
Hold the horses. Channel 6 has even made an appearance. Paul, you know what? They check our schedule. They go, hey, if TV8's going to be somewhere, that's the best possible game in the city. We're going to show up, too.
We've got them all here tonight.
4 and 10. 28. I'll tell you what, baby. TV8 has got it all. There's no doubt about that.
Some more heavy hitting. As you saw, Philando Sharp taken into the line and get popped. Picked up a couple on the play, but paid for it.
Donnie Myers, number 30, putting some big licks on people. He's a linebacker.
Moving
Paul,
down
you
toward
can see those Brookhaven jerseys starting to come out of the pants. Remember Wilbur Brown used to get loose after a couple carries. I think the kid's kind of, that's a little trademark of the rough and tumble play.
Under 6 minutes to go. Wilson wants to throw. Does. Got Sharp. And Sharp up the sideline, hit hard and spun down at about the 21-yard line.
Good tackle by Charles Henley out there, but Frankie Wilson just threading the needle on those passes. He's moving the Cougars downfield.
There is Philando Sharp. He is a junior.
Uh-oh, it's going to go against Beechcroft, PC. That's going to hurt. A penalty. Dirty laundry.
That's right. The dirty laundry
My
is
main
down.
man, Jim
Back.
Day, has made an appearance. Oh, I must be in church, baby. Wait a minute, this press box is going to fall down. A visit from the Channel 6 Football Patrol here on TV8. Now look at Frankie Wilson. He's going to roll out. He's going to draw the football. Sharp makes a good catch, but look at Henley. Sharp's going to try to pick up another yard or two, but good tackle by Charles Henley.
Well, holding is the call, though, against Beechcroft, and that's going to move it back just about to midfield. It'll be spotted on the 49-yard line and make it second down and call it 21.
PC, tone me down a little bit. Those ribs are starting to act up. These old bones aren't what they used to be.
Single setback now. 3 guys split out wide. And Wilson wants to throw on second down. He's got a man.
Hitting 89 that time.
James Delaney. And Delaney steps out of bounds immediately.
That's not going to be first down yardage, though, Paul.
No, not even close.
Moves him to 3rd and 16. Paul, the offensive line looks like they're getting a little beaten up out there for Beechcroft, and they're a very fine tandem out there. Reggie Jackson, Josh Arnold, Scott Moon, Chris Hogan, and James Bowman.
And they're big along that offensive line, averaging 213. Good size for any high school team. And Wilson wants to throw again, does deep, but nobody in the area where that ball was delivered.
Frankie looking a little surprised himself.
Yeah, it looks like maybe at least one of his receivers didn't run quite the right route. The nearest man to it was Manyfield, and he was about 10 yards away from where the ball actually hit the turf.
Well, you know, Paul, Frankie Wilson is also the team's punter. You're down 35-6. 5:29 to go in the 3rd quarter. Now, I still don't think this team's out of it. I really don't.
Well, let's see if they come up with something fancy here. Now, Wilson's going to punt it away and gets a good one off. Tony Gwynn fumbles the football, and there's going to be a scramble. This could be a big break for Beechcroft.
Well, Paul,
yes.
They didn't do anything fancy. They just recovered a turnover. That will be Brookhaven's first turnover of the day, and it's a big one.
Well, Tony Gwynn just couldn't come up with a handle on it.
And they're fighting down there for the loose ball. Eddie Temple coming up with the football for Beechcroft. Big play.
So Ed Temple, number 28, comes up with that fumble recovery. And Beechcroft is back in business now, this time deeper. That was the 10th play of the drive.
Beechcroft, Jones, and the Temple of Doom that time for Brookhaven, 28-yard punt.
Well, that was the most productive play of the drive, so the drive continues.
Oh, there's John Cross.
John Cross. He is a 6-foot, 230-pounder.
Charles Henley kind of finally got him down. Oh, John Cross pushes Henley aside as he goes back to the huddle.
Well, John Cross, now there you get a good look at his back. Last week, for his performance against DeSales, was named the WTVN Team Talk Player of the Week. He was in on 25 tackles against DeSales last week.
Also, have you seen Reynoldsburg winners of their first 2 games?
Yes.
We'll be out at Reynoldsburg with Hilliard here in a few weeks.
Looking forward to seeing the Reynoldsburg Raiders. Timeout on the field with 4 minutes and 39 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. The score, Brookhaven 35, Beechcroft 6. Back after this. We are back at Beechcroft High School Cougar Field, and the Cougars are getting clawed by the Bearcats tonight, 35-6, and that is exactly the opposite from what we were expecting. That's the opposite from what the other experts who are here tonight were expecting.
14-yard line, 2nd down and 3.
But Beechcroft on a drive deep in Brookhaven territory.
What a hit!
Oh, yes, a tremendous hit dished out as the pass was dumped off over the middle.
That was Charles Henley with a big hit that time. Paul, I didn't see who the pass was for, but it should have been a tight end the way it was executed so quickly.
It was intended for James Delaney, and Delaney was popped from behind, and Delaney will come off the field. So make it 3rd down and 3.
Once again, Delaney led the team in catches last year, an honorable mention in the city.
Manyfield wide to the near side on 3rd and 3. And the give is going to be to Philando Sharp. And Sharp is up close to the first down.
Jason Gwynn over there on the stop, along with number 61, Andy Nice, and he hasn't been so nice tonight to the Beechcroft ball carriers. John Cross checks back in, 4th and 1.
Not quite enough for the first down, as he said, 4th and 1.
I think you'll give it to the big hoss Cross this time, PC.
Cross, all 230 pounds of him. There he is, wearing number 99.
Larry Thomas also in the backfield.
It will be Cross. And Cross still on his feet and dives over the 10-yard line. He's got the first down. So John Cross picks up a big first down for Beechcroft.
Sean Harris put a shoulder in his back.
And Beechcroft will have the ball 1st and goal from just inside the 10-yard line.
Lantuan Smith was also over there, but Beechcroft on the move, 3:56. And the clock's running here left in the third, 35-6 Brookhaven.
Now it's going to be Manyfield going wide to the far side. Cross is out. Hairston is in one of the running backs.
Wilson wants it himself.
Wilson going for the goal line. He put the ball over, but he was tackled just short. The knee was down short of the goal line.
Charles Henley made another fine tackle that time as Frankie Wilson exploded over the right side of the line. Tony Gwynn was also there in a hurry, too. Here you're going to see it, Frankie Wilson. It's all Frankie. Buys himself a little time there with a fake into the line to number 49, Mark Hairston.
Excellent fake to Hairston.
Look at Tony Gwynn grabbing for the football that time, Paul.
Well, let's see what happens now on 2nd down. Goal to go from the 1-yard line. Actually, a little bit less than
Frankie
the 1.
right over center.
Touchdown, Beechcroft. And on the carry was Warren Ball. No, I'm sorry, Philando Sharp.
Philando Sharp, the 5'10", 185-pound junior fullback. Punches it in. Where's he going to go this time, Paul? Right over the right side of the line. There you see people clearing out that time. 78, the man leading the charge, was right tackle Chris Hogan. Also right guard Reggie Jackson, who is not in Oakland, California. He's here in Beechcroft.
Good block, though. He had plenty of room to go.
Tell you what, Reggie used to hit him out of the park. Now he's throwing his body around down there for the Cougars. Oh, they're going for 2, PC.
They sure will.
But they need him.
35-12. 2-point conversion attempt now.
Frankie likes rolling to the left.
And he's got a man wide open, Delaney, and he's got it.
Oh, he had to catch that football, PC.
No problem at all.
He was wide open that time. Oh, Delaney chastising the defense of Brookhaven just a little bit.
Well, it makes the score 35-14. Wakes the Beechcroft crowd up a little bit.
Oh, Frankie Wilson, when it's clutch time, loves to roll to his left. Oh, he was passing all the way. Ernest Perry had his eyes on the quarterback that time and not on the man that had just slid to his outside a little bit. James Delaney doing a great job getting open in the end zone. 35-14, 3 minutes exactly left in the third quarter.
Well, it's a good sign for Beechcroft. Beechcroft managing to sustain a drive. Of course, they were aided by a fumbled punt. But that kept the drive alive, and Beechcroft was able to move it in.
Well, I mentioned earlier briefly that the East High Tigers are playing at the South High Bulldogs tonight. Should be an interesting game. Coach Doug Smith, a wonderful man, and he's got the East High Tigers back rolling in the City League. 27 yards, 5 plays, 2:12 time of possession. Sharp's 1-yard run was the touchdown, and of course the 2-point conversion came on the pass from Frankie Wilson to James Delaney to make the score. 35 for Brookhaven, 14 for Beechcroft, and Zeller gets ready to kick it off again for the Cougars.
So Beechcroft or Brookhaven now will try to get the football and just keep it as long as it can. It'll be interesting to see how much Brookhaven will keep the ball on the ground to keep the clock moving.
Ernest Perry and Steve Ayers. No, I'm sorry, it's Perry and Henley going back to receive the kickoff.
That's right. Still a long time to go, though. It's hard to believe that with the score of 35-14 that there is still 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go in this third quarter.
The missus doesn't have you on curfew tonight, does she, Paul?
Don't think so. And Beechcroft is going to play it. Brookhaven is going to play it safe. Going down on top of the football for Brookhaven was Sean Harris. And Brookhaven will put it in play on its own 30-yard line.
It will be interesting to see what Marlon Kerner and his charges do now. Paul, that running game with Ernest Perry has worked so well over the right side of the line. It's worked well for Kerner when he's taken 1 or 2 steps back.
That's right.
Maybe it's time to soften up the defense again. Remember, they scored the last time they had the ball with a very nice drive.
This is the first quarterback we've seen this year use that shallow drop so much. Just that quick 2-step drop and bang. And it's worked very well tonight for Marlon Kerner.
Ernest Perry over the right side again.
And Perry just carrying it straight ahead. Again, keeping that clock moving along, but still 2 minutes and a half to go in this third quarter.
Tyrone Hairston got down around his ankles, shot him to the ground. Now, Paul, in the first game of the season, we saw John Ness do a brilliant job quarterbacking the Upper Arlington Golden Bears. We'll get to see him again next week. But tonight, all we can say is we're seeing a couple of great quarterbacks, and one of them triumphing so far tonight. Where's number 11? Marlon Kerner for the Brookhaven Bearcats.
And a quick timeout called by referee Bo Rugg as we look at the Beechcroft Cougar sideline. Is that Beau Geste there on the side? Looked like the French Foreign Legion.
Maybe I'll tell you what, watch out, you get shipped off to Saudi Arabia.
We'd like to hear what you think about what you're seeing on TV8. Drop us a line at TV8 Sports, 1201 Olentangy River Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43212. Of course, we're in the process now of picking a basketball schedule for the upcoming basketball season, which is not all that far away. If you've got some suggestions.
Oh, there's some good big men in the city this year, and also out in the burbs, Nate Wilborn, Antonio Watson.
Those are the two who come to mind immediately. But lots of fine basketball talent around Central Ohio. 2nd and 7. Perry again.
Oh,
Perry, look at the big hole, and Perry almost busted that one all the way. He's up to the 45.
You know, Albert Diggs, number 40, the linebacker, was celebrating. I don't know why he's celebrating. He just got burned for a 15-yard run. I guess Albert made a big play. Now, Paul, look what happens. He's going to shoot over the left side this time. Oh, my, you could drive a Jeep through that hole. No, a good tackle that time by number 40, Diggs. He did a good job.
Very near a clip for
Ellis
Brookhaven.
Hudson out in front blocking again.
That's right. So a first down for Brookhaven. Up near the midfield mark.
Look at Perry again.
And that is going to be Ellis Hudson,
Well,
fullback. And Hudson running like a fullback.
Okay, Paul Cox, I'll tell you what, I'm getting lost in that backfield.
Well, he took a lesson or two from Vaughn Broadnax, one of the assistant coaches at Brookhaven.
We saw Billy Matlock.
Billy Matlock was out there
Beechcroft.
too. You called Vaughn Broadnax one of the last what kind of fullbacks?
A dinosaur fullback, Paul, and Vaughn Broadnax did his job and did it well with Ohio State, but unfortunately, and it's coming back into vogue in the pros, your Tim Manoa type fullbacks. But when Vaughn was getting ready to get drafted, everybody was using just one back, like a quick wing back or an H-back, and fullbacks almost died out. They were almost the same size as halfbacks, so Vaughn just lost out. But I was sure that he could have played in the pros.
Oh, they like wide ties. Will always come back into fashion, and that time the fullback Ellis Hudson is going to be hit right away and drop.
49 made a big play that time. That was Mark Hairston, defensive tackle.
Well, we've certainly called Hairston's number a lot tonight, haven't we?
He's done a great job on defense. But that was Mark Hairston. We've called Tyrone Hairston quite a bit, too.
That's right.
44, the middle linebacker. They lost 2.
2nd down and 12. Down under a minute to play now in the third quarter.
Kerner wants a lot.
And he's going up high with it. It's going to be a foot race to the end zone. The pass is incomplete, coming down at the 10-yard line.
Fred Rondo doing a great job of covering Mario Big
That's
Play
right.
Mays that time. And he was on him like a blanket.
Mays and Rondo running shoulder to shoulder. And Marlon Kerner again showing us how much arm strength he has.
Paul, if you had a look at Gene Martin, number 70 for Beechcroft on the sideline, 6'3", 283-pound, sophomore tackle. Sophomore.
He's going to grow a little bit, isn't he?
Chip Watkins, watch out, baby.
Yeah, I see him down there right now, completely eclipsing his coach. Oh, down goes Kerner.
Tyrone Hairston right up the middle.
Tyrone Hairston blitzing.
Oh, he's got a mask on his helmet. Is it Darth Vader? No, it's Tyrone Hairston, 44 for the Cougars. Oh, he's going to shoot right between the gap between center and left guard. Oh, and but did you see how quickly Kerner tucked the ball into his midsection so he didn't fumble? Steve Ayers on the punt for Brookhaven.
He went down back at the 49-yard line.
Big play for the Cougars that time.
Ayers to punt deep to Frankie Wilson.
The clock's going to run out, PC.
Yep, he won't get the play off. Time is gone in the third quarter, so they'll shift sides of the field. Let's see, is the wind going to be a factor? No, there is no wind. Flag just hanging limply. So, 36 minutes of football gone here at Beechcroft High School. Brookhaven, the visiting team, leading by a score of 35-14. Back with quarter number 4 right after this. Well, it has been a very long night for Coach Tom Dunlop and his Beechcroft Cougars. Before tonight, they'd only given up an average of 1 touchdown a game. Tonight, they've been hit for 35 big ones.
There you saw a quick look at the Cougar sideline. The fans, mostly for the most part, hanging tough tonight because they know their team's explosive, and you've got another 12 minutes of football, and they're down 35 to 14 as Steve Ayers gets ready to punt, PC.
On 4th and 20, and he gets a good foot into it. It's going to come down to Wilson. At the 13-yard line, Frankie Wilson looking for running room, and down he goes at the 30.
Oh, 51 down there with a nice sure tackle with Chuck Andrick. He plays guard on offense, and he's hustled downfield in a hurry.
A good run back by Frankie Wilson. Give him a 24-yard punt return after a 37-yard punt.
Do you love these stat guys?
These guys have just got this choreographed so well.
I love these kids, I'll tell you. Larry Thomas checking off the field as Beechcroft gets ready to work again. They'll run with Philando Sharp and Mark Hairston in the backfield. PC.
And Frankie Wilson on the call. Looking to throw, has got to throw, and it is incomplete. It was intended. Well, let's see, who was that?
Paul, I'll tell you a
for?
problem that time. There were 3
Delaney.
men flooding the zone that time. 89 was Delaney, 84 was Cochran, and also Philando Sharp. I think one of the Beechcroft players maybe knocked it out of the other one's hands.
Could have been. They have flooded the zone successfully on a number of occasions tonight. That time didn't work.
Something else I noticed. Beechcroft is keeping 1 man back just to pick up Jason Gwynn. Jason Gwynn beat his tackle again that time, but a man in the backfield, Mark Hairston, 49, tied him up. So if you can keep an eye on that, that's a big battle. Jason Gwynn, the end on the closest side of your screen.
On 2nd and 10. Over the middle it comes. It is. Great catch by Minnifield.
Minifield's in the
Gets
open.
away from a tackler.
Well, Paul, he's going to get caught. We know about that
15-yard
Brookhaven
line.
speed.
10, 5.
Oh, my!
What a move! Touchdown.
Unbelievable! Minifield split Donnie Myers and Charles Henley to go in for the score. Not only did he make a brilliant catch that time, but he runs it in for a touchdown.
Well, it doesn't come much better than that, although we've seen him try in this game. That is a 70-yard strike.
Well, you know, there's one Minifield who's not playing any football this fall. His name's Frank, but Tony's making more up for the excitement. Now watch the catcher. That's good coverage, Paul.
It sure is.
That's great coverage. Now Minifield keeps the ball alive. He's going to oh, Tony Gwynn, you got to make that stop, brother. But now look at this. Now these guys are blazing speedsters for Brookhaven closing in. Henley and Myers, and look at that. Tony Minifield going to waltz into the end zone.
Well, the point after attempt, the 2-point conversion attempt fails, and the score is going to remain at 35-20. But they're only down now by 15 points, but they are down by 2 touchdowns, by a little bit more than 2 touchdowns.
That was a flat-out brilliant catch by Tony Minifield. We've seen it all tonight, Paul. Paul, this is a pro-style football game between 2 high school teams. Wide open, throwing the bombs, running off guard and off tackle, playing special teams. They're doing it all.
Well, it was 21-6 Brookhaven at the end of the first quarter, 28-6 at halftime, 35-14 at the end of the third quarter, now 35-20. Now let's just see if, as you see the moon rising in the background, what a gorgeous shot that is.
Keep an eye out for werewolves when you're leaving Cougar Stadium tonight. Or Cougars.
Well, they're going to guard against the possibility of the onside kick here. Steve Zeller. The kickoff from his 40-yard line. No, he's not. Going to be somebody else trying to get the ball is loose.
The ball.
There's a big scramble down there. Let's see who got it.
Was that
like
Frankie
Brookhaven
Wilson down on the line, Paul? Yes, it was.
Frankie Wilson is the man who kicked it off and went after it.
Now, there were 2 Brookhaven players down there, 73 and 63, both offensive linemen. Marky Freed is the center, and 73, Ronnie Cunningham, the right tackle, made the recovery. Paul, those guys, Cunningham doesn't get to touch the football that often.
Now, Brookhaven back in business now in its own territory. Trying to run some time off that clock.
It's Ernest Perry on a counter.
And Ernest Perry is going to be dragged down after he gave a gain of about a yard of the play.
Hank Patterson, 45, with the tackle down around the ankles. Well, Paul, if you're Brookhaven, I'm going to tell you something right now. You don't want to stop the clock. You're still up by 15 points.
That's right.
Beechcroft could strike quickly.
That's right.
But you still want to move downfield. You still want to get one more score, because in this day of age of high school football with 2-point conversions, Beechcroft very well could put 16 points on the board with 2 scores.
That's right. Lots of time left. Fakes it to Perry. Now Kerner wants to run. Look at that speed. He's got a first down and out of bounds.
Oh, number 40, Albert Diggs, was chasing him to Schrock Road that time. Oh, my. Kerner didn't want to get hit by Diggs.
Well, Kerner did get the corner turned and picked up enough for the first down.
I know where he was going. He was going over to Tamarack Circle to get us another Donato's Pizza, baby.
That's right. We're not far away here, are we? Well, I know where we're stopping after the game. 44-yard line is where the ball is spotted now.
And Kerner made that happen again, too, with the safety in the backfield.
Pitch back to Perry. And Perry's got some running room. Perry's in the open. 20-yard line. 10. Touchdown. Touchdown, Ernest Perry.
I'm grabbing my heart. I don't believe what I'm seeing.
That is a 43-yard touchdown run.
Paul, that was a quick pitch designed to get Ernest Perry outside. You know who throws the key block out here? 42, Jason Gwynn.
Oh, great block. You are.
And Perry's off. You know, 52 is definitely not going to catch him. Oh, my.
So just a minute after Beechcroft scores, Brookhaven gets even.
I got to be looking for Mr. Perry in the stands after this one. He's going to be a proud father.
And Bias.
It's another one, baby.
Right through there.
6, brother.
Line drive, but he got it through there, got the job done. Well, he's had lots of practice tonight, and that makes the score 42-20 with 10:02 to go. Well, you know, we've been saying that Beechcroft has time to get back into the ball game. I'm not so sure now.
Well, we'll see if they strike quickly again this time with the ball. I bet you Steve Blackledge in the dispatch and Brian Rapp at SNP, they're running out of room tonight for their columns.
I don't know. I'm searching my memory banks right now and trying to remember the last time we had a game that was this high scoring.
Just an old-fashioned shootout, baby.
That's right.
Gunfight at the OK Corral.
62 points total scored so far. And we've still got 10 minutes left in the ball game.
You know, I'm racking my memory here. And you're going to get a look at the scoring drive for Brookhaven, 57 yards, 3 plays, 108. Ernest Perry. Look at that. That's an Anthony Davis kick into the end zone.
That's right. (42-20) is the score. Brookhaven just about to kick it off.
Here's C29 going back to get the kick. Tony Minifield. Frankie Wilson should be back there with him.
And Wilson is on the far side of the field. Wouldn't it be a great time for an onside kick right now?
Oh, Paul, I'll tell you what, if Brookhaven could onside kick and recover, the fat lady would have to start singing, baby. I know she's here somewhere tonight.
Let's see what happens.
The Bearcats are growling tonight.
He's going to put the foot into it.
He's kicking it Frankie Wilson's side.
Wilson picks it up at the 20.
Oh,
Wilson fires it across, but down goes Minifield. Minifield had to go down on one knee to make the catch, and that was the wise play by Minifield.
And 33, Eric Harrison, we haven't had to call his name too much tonight. He's a junior linebacker playing on the specialty teams, 5'10", 171. He was there to smother Minifield in case he had some ideas of running with the football. Paul Cox, I got to tell you something. With the weekend of football, as you pointed out in the pregame, whether or not you like the team, you got to love the name Spike Dykes. The Texas Tech Red Raider coach. That's a football name if I ever heard one, brother.
Spike Dykes, I guess, is quite a character. And there's another illegal block call against Beechcroft.
Oh, that's going to push him back into doomsday territory.
It certainly is. Yeah, Spike Dykes very complimentary, of course, toward his opponents at all time, and he's He plays his cards very close to the vest. You never know what kind of shape his team's in. Well, they're going to find out for sure tomorrow when they put it up at Ohio Stadium.
1st and 10 for Beechcroft.
And there's a nice catch and a drop. It was intended for Eric Johnson. Johnson had it and then dropped it.
Johnson went high for the football. Paul, I like Coach Cooper's comment, though, about the new real grass stadium at Ohio Stadium. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech, their mascot's a horse, and he said, I'm glad the horse didn't come. He'd eat our new grass field. Now look at Eric Johnson here. He's going to try to go high for the football. Oh, Paul, he tries to tuck it in, and he just loses as he brings the ball back down. Nice try, Eric.
You know, the day that they laid that grass out there at the stadium, Coach Cooper was out there running laps. Wanted to make sure they didn't leave any big bare spots. Flags all over the place as the pass comes in the middle and is intercepted.
Tony Gwynn!
Tony Gwynn.
He's in the act, baby!
Tony Gwynn is knocked out of bounds at the 10-yard line by the quarterback, Frankie Wilson.
And I think the flags are going to be holding against Beechcroft. We're going to see.
And if it is against Beechcroft, it'll be Brookhaven football.
Hey, you know what's going to happen now? Tony Gwynn's going to go back. Look at his big brother Jason go ahead and say, I told you, big bro.
Illegal shift against Beechcroft, all right.
Let's see if we can catch the shift. We're not going to. Oh, Paul Wilson was under tremendous pressure. He just, oh my, but a brilliant play that time. Tony Gwynn cuts in front of the receiver, number 89, James Delaney. A 14-yard interception return. Now, last year we called Jason Gwynn the pup. I guess Tony's going to take that name this year.
That's right. Well, Tony Gwynn, a fine grab on that interception and a good return, a 14-yard return.
Hey, Tony's going to want some offensive playing time here, baby,
yes.
for a catch like that.
It'll be 1st and goal from just inside the 10-yard line.
I don't see Ernest Perry in there, do you?
No, sir, he's not in. And right away, Marlon Kerner wants timeout.
Ellis Hudson and Henley were getting ready to line up in the backfield.
So we'll take a timeout as Brookhaven does. 9:17 to go regulation time. Brookhaven 42, Beechcroft 20. Nine minutes and 17 seconds to go, and regulation time here at Beechcroft. There you saw the score, and no, that was not a mistake. It is a surprise, however. 1st and goal to go, Brookhaven.
Henley and Hudson in the backfield, lined up in the eye.
Man in motion. It's going to be Henley, and Henley up to about the 6. Charles Henley has already scored a touchdown tonight, but that was from the defensive side of the ball. Henley.
David McCarter there on the tackle along with Albert Diggs.
You had a good look at Charles Henley. He had an interception return for a touchdown with just about a minute to make that 3 minutes and 15 seconds gone.
Paul, knowing Ernest Perry, he's on the sideline. Coach Miller or Coach Marv Whiting are probably physically restraining him from going back out there to play.
Well, Ernest Perry has had quite a night.
Oh, no, Jason Quinn had another gift there. Look at Jason. He's upset with himself. He wants another one. He wants more.
Yeah, that was close.
And a great call, too, Paul. A great call. Marlon Kerner just going to shoot it over.
Right there.
Jason wants that
open.
one, Dak. I think his little brother's going to make him run some laps for that one.
That'll make it 3rd down and 7. 3rd down and goal. And it's going to be Henley again, and Henley is stopped short of the 5-yard line.
Trying to run around the left side that time. And one of the Beechcroft tacklers still helping Mr. Henley to his feet. So sportsmanship still reigns here at Beechcroft.
Well, 4th and goal. Now Bias has kicked 6 points after tonight. So perhaps Gary Bias now will come on to attempt the field goal.
And Bias is out there. He's marking off his turf right now. Tony Gwynn should be the holder. Now Bias hit a 35-yarder last week. I want to say he missed a 27-yarder. Where does this put him, PC?
Looks like the spot will come on the 13-yard line. 23-yard attempt.
It's blocked.
And a little bit too low. It's blocked out there. And the ball is going to be picked up. And it was Tyrone Hairston with the football trying to advance it, but he was stopped.
And I'll tell you what, Hairston was just spared at that time by number 9, the holder, Tony Gwynn.
Well, these Gwynns get it done, don't they?
Without a doubt. 7:47.
So actually, that was better than a punt because the ball is going to be marked inside the 15-yard line.
7:41 now in Clark County left in the game. 42-20, Brookhaven on top. Beechcroft back in action.
So Beechcroft with 7 minutes and 30 seconds in which to move the football. And a little bit more trouble in the handoff. That play just not working.
Brookhaven says they have the football on a fumble. I didn't see it pop loose there, PC.
Well, let's see. No signal from the official. Yes! Brookhaven football.
Look at that. Golly gee.
Well, Bo Rugg came all the way out of the big pile there and took several steps away before finally giving the official signal.
Well, I guess in honor of the new OSU president, I should say golly gee. PC, we'll have to wear bow ties next week, baby, in Arlington. What do you think?
Good idea.
That's Philando Sharp. I don't know if he ever had the football. There's players looking around for the ball. I don't even know who recovered that one, Paul, but whoever it did, good job.
Now, Beechcroft has had a tough time tonight with the handoffs. Beechcroft has just had a tough time all around on the offensive side of the football tonight.
I think they'll keep it on the ground this time, PC.
And it's going to be
straight run by Kerner.
Going to be Kerner going around the end at the 10-yard line. He is clothesline just short of the goal line. Looks like he got out of bounds at about the 1.
44, Tyrone Harrison was there. 45, Hank Patterson was there. Paul, a great athlete, can go to either side. We saw Kerner score earlier around the right side. If you're right-handed, it makes it a little easier to run that way. But this time he took the ball under his left hand and he dashes for that left goal line marker. Just brilliant play in here. Oh, somebody wrapped him up pretty good.
Ouch.
I'm not quite sure who that was, but Brookhaven has first and goal.
And straight ahead he goes. There's the fullback. That is Ellis Hudson. And Hudson is in for the touchdown from 2 yards out.
Paul, I love to see that because all game, Ellis Hudson's been blocking for Ernest Perry. He's been blocking for Marlon Kerner, throwing his body up there unselfishly. Let him get in the end zone. Let him get some points on the board because that's what draws attention. Ellis Hudson. Oh, look who falls to block of Henley that time. And he is in. He's still fighting.
He sure is. He's ready to play. 48-20 the score.
He should have let Ron Cunningham, the lineman, spike the ball that time. Ronnie was standing out there in the end zone. Bias to attempt the extra point. He's perfect tonight from Pat range. Oh, he misses one.
Yep, missed it wide to the right.
That last block field goal must have shaken up Mr. Bias a little bit. But the bottom line, with 6:41 left in the game, it's the Brookhaven Bearcats 48, the Beechcroft Cougars 20.
Well, for a while here in the fourth quarter, it looked like that Beechcroft was going to climb back into it. They got the score down to 35-20. But then Brookhaven has come back with a couple of touchdowns here in the late going to make it 48-20.
Well, Ernest Perry exploded. Brookhaven recovered the fumble. Paul, we got to remember something. Jason Gwynn, and Jason, I'm not picking on you because you're my friend, but he dropped that pass in the end zone. It very well could be 55 right now.
That's right. That's right. 6 minutes and 41 seconds to go. It's hard to believe that we've got this many points on the board, and we've still got 6:41 to go. Total of 68 points thus far in the ball game. And Brookhaven set to kick it off.
Paul, just a beautiful, beautiful City League facility also up here in the north end of town. You get a look at the Brookhaven scoring drive, 15 yards, 2 plays, 32 seconds time. Hudson's 2-yard run pushes the ball across. Some other individual stats this evening. Mr. Minifield has 5 catches for 127 yards and 1 touchdown for Beechcroft. Rushing for Brookhaven, 200 yards. Beechcroft, 31. Ernest Perry has 127 yards. Marlon Kerner, 56 yards there for Brookhaven, of course. And for Beechcroft, the leading ground gainer is John Cross with 11 yards.
And John Cross is now the starting running back. Now the ball is going to bounce around
And that
finally
was dropped
be
in the
picked up by
backfield.
Larry Thomas, and Thomas is dangerous on these runbacks. And they get Thomas down at the 35-yard line. So Larry Thomas, the sophomore, wearing number 33, there you see him getting up, continues to be dangerous on the runbacks.
Paul, something impressive. The Brookhaven players are not giving up one iota. They still keep swarming to the football, and they covered that one brilliantly again.
20-yard return for Larry Thomas. You know, we were wondering whether perhaps the fact that so many of the Brookhaven players go both ways was going to mean they were going to be fatigued. If anything, the Beechcroft players look fatigued.
Here's Larry Thomas up the gut.
Larry Thomas straight ahead, got about 5 or 6. Look at him fight for yardage.
He's wrestled to the ground. Good tackle by Andy Nice, number 61. As I mentioned, Andy not so nice, a 5'10", 219-pound junior.
You know, if you could put Larry Thomas and Marlon Kerner in the same backfield, I wonder if you could even see them. They'd be so fast.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ernest Perry showed some speed.
Yes.
He looked like a streak of lightning going across the field before that one run, my friend.
5:51 to go. Beechcroft with the football, but trailing by
a big pop in there by Handy Nice. He's getting fired up. 53 also helping out on that one was Larry Reese, a 5'8", 165-pound sophomore.
Well, you know, every week we seem to have a Mr. X or a Dr. X. There he is, number 43 for Beechcroft. That was a young man who just carried the football. We do not have a 43 on our roster.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dr. X picks up 2 yards, so it's
sure
3rd and 2 for Beechcroft.
And Minifield wide to the far side. Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Thomas is hit hard and driven back.
And I'll tell you the first man on that pop. That 66 making a stop, young man. Well, his name is Jones. Paul, help me out here. I can have a hard time reading my roster there. But 66, Mr. Jones for Brookhaven on a big stop there. Ron Jones?
Looks like Ron Jones. Ron or Rob?
And we found out 43, Dr. X is Dwayne King.
Thanks very much.
For Beechcroft. Wilson punts.
Wilson gets a good one off.
Covered immediately.
And right down immediately at the 29-yard line. And so it'll be Brookhaven football once again.
Well, I'm going to call him Mr. Jones after that last hit, number 66 for Brookhaven.
So it's going to be Brookhaven football again. And we can expect, I believe, this time to see the Brookhaven Bearcats just keep it on the ground.
26-yard punt by Frankie Wilson. Frankie Wilson also a never say die type of player. He punted that ball and sprinted right downfield to help out on the tackle.
Well, a lot of the folks have now left the friendly confines of Cougar Stadium here at Beechcroft High School.
New quarterback in for Brookhaven is Tim Miller. He's a sophomore, 5'10", 162-pounder. Timmy Miller is now quarterbacking Brookhaven.
Getting some playing time under duress because you know that Beechcroft defense is going to be coming hard.
And they came hard that time on number 21, Ellis Hudson, the fullback. Just a surge. Oh, yeah, these guys still want to hit somebody, Paul.
Well, Ellis Hudson is fired up because he just scored his first touchdown of the game on the last Brookhaven drive. That keeps the clock moving with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Neither team has any reason to stop the clock at this point. Tim Miller on the call. And Miller kept the football, and it's going to be picked up. And that's going to be a touchdown for Beechcroft.
Looks like 27, Mike Simon ended up with the football.
Mike Simon picked it up and ran it into the end zone. So Beechcroft.
Well, Paul, maybe a little premature to put your second, third team players in there. Let's see what happens. This happened so quickly. Timmy Miller was hit before he was able to get the balls sharply in the hands of number 41 that time, who we don't have a name on. But Mike Simon picked up the football and runs it in 18 yards for a Beechcroft touchdown. Now, Paul, trying to get my math going here. I got my mojo working, but not my math.
Well, we've had a total of 74 points scored in the ball game.
And I do believe Beechcroft will go for 2. That was an 18-yard fumble return by Mike Simon. Simon says touchdown for Beechcroft that time.
That's right. Well, let's see what they're going to do. There's no doubt here that they'll go for the 2-point conversion, but...
Now, something I'm not going to stand for after the game. I see Brian Ramp and Steve Blackledge, our reporters, our print media people, down on the sideline already. They want a shot at the winning coach after the game. Guys, you're going to have to wait for TV8, baby, because we set the table.
That's right.
And I want dessert tonight. You're doing the dishes. Okay? I'm letting it be known right now.
3 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Brookhaven called the timeout.
Oh, we have a schedule coming up for you, of course, next week. Worthington at UA, Cardinals and Golden Bears. And south at Independence, Bulldogs and Sixers. Hilliard at Reynoldsburg. Reynoldsburg winners of their first 2. We'll see how they've done going into week 3. Then Worthington travels to Gahanna, and those Golden Lion fans know how to party. I'll tell you something.
They sure do.
They'll have the brats and the sodas out in the parking lot. Then we've got Brian Gandhi and the Westland Cougars against Westerville North. Westland, a little bit of an unknown commodity, but they play ball. Marv Bohanmon's Eastmore Warriors and Coach Eichinger's Mifflin Punchers. And then we finish up Westerville South to Grove City. And hopefully, Kajana Carter will be back by that last game of the season.
That's right. Well, we've got lots of good games on the schedule. And
lots of great games, brother.
That's right. They will go for the two-point conversion. As Wilson throws into the corner, he's got his man. That's Delaney for the two-point conversion.
Paul, that was the same play they got the other two-pointer on, except they ran it to the right this time. So you run it left, you run it right. Hey, if it works, it works. Now we've got a 48-28 ball game, 3:22 left. I'm going to make two statements here, rather bold. One, I look for an onside kick by Beechcroft. Secondly, I look for Marlon Kerner to be back in at quarterback for Brookhaven.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see what happens.
If indeed they get the football.
I'm not saying that
after your predicted onside kick.
You're trying to talk about Timmy Miller taking away some playing time for him, but this is a game still on the line, Paul Cox, 3:22, and Frankie Wilson and that Beechcroft team could explode.
That's right. Well, they've got lots of time. Just think of how fast. Now, you look at how fast Brookhaven scored in that first quarter. There are 3 touchdowns within about 4.5 minutes time. So they've basically got the time.
And there's a scoring drive for Beechcroft, 18 yards, 1 play, 4 seconds. Mr. Simons, 18-yard fumble return. Definitely not simple, Simon, the way Mike played defense tonight.
So it looks like it's going to be Zeller to kick it off, but last time they were set up like this, it was Frankie Wilson who ran across and kicked the football. Back deep for Brookhaven, Charles Henley and Ellis Hudson. It's going to be Zeller with the punt, with the kick, and out of bounds it's going to go. So they'll remark the football back at the 35-yard line.
Frankie Wilson tried to cross him up with a little crossover move there, PC.
That's right. Frankie Wilson ran up as if to kick the ball. Then Zeller, the man who was supposed to kick the ball, did.
Paul, I'll tell you something, I usually love to stand for the games, but this little bit of a mountain bike injury about a week old here, and I'm paying the price this evening.
Well, you have got a bad case of road rash, and I sympathize because I know what it feels like, although I don't think I ever got it as badly as you did. I usually fall on pavement.
Or you out running from the neighborhood dog, right?
That's right. Well, the Brookhaven Bearcats, instead of taking the penalty, are going to take the football, which is a pretty wise move.
And Paul, a fatherly move by Greg Miller, the head coach of Brookhaven, as Timmy Miller's back in to quarterback the team. 3:22. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if they can get a first down. If they can, they're in great shape.
Well,
they beat Brookhaven now.
Give Tim Miller some confidence-building time in there at quarterback with 3:22 to go.
Well, they got 2 tight ends.
And right away, the tailback is smacked as Miller handed it off.
Tyrone Hairston once again. Paul, Beechcroft defensively is trying to get the ball back one more time or 2 more times, or trying to force a punt in a hurry because they're still hitting hard down there. The play is being signaled from the sideline. And there you see Coach Miller and his brain trust. And all his fine players off with him. You know, a couple of the guys on the injured list for Brookhaven, one of them's number 44, number 70, John Patterson, who's on the sideline. He's a 6-foot, 213-pound senior who was a starter both ways last season. So they're doing this without their main cogs in the game, Paul.
With the football. Well, there's a youngster for whom we do not have a number.
Carl Radcliffe carrying that time.
Thank you.
John Cross on the tackle.
Now we'll continue to fill out our roster sheet here. Carl Radcliffe, number 41.
Can I chew out Coach Miller after the game for using those players?
Well, it often happens in high school football that some youngsters are brought up off of the junior varsity roster right at the last moment. And Radcliffe again gets the call. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, John Cross leveled him.
Oh, gee whiz.
You know, John Cross, soft-spoken young man, but I'll tell you something, on the football field, he's mean.
Welcome to varsity football, Mr. Radcliffe. Clock continues to run down under the 2-minute mark now.
Frankie Wilson will go back to receive the punt. Paul, now that I look at the time, it was 3:22 when they started the drive. It was a good move putting Mr. Miller in.
Yes, it was. Ran some time off the clock. Minute 35 to go. as Brookhaven will take as much time as it can. May even take a delay of game penalty just to run some more time off the clock.
Paul, I may
And
exit here a few seconds early so I can go down and make sure I can get Coach Miller, who at this time I will claim to be the winning coach with 1:29 left and a 22-point lead.
Not too much doubt about that, I don't think.
A 20-point lead.
It's going to take you a while to hobble down there anyway, so you have our permission to leave the room if you like. Delay of game is the call.
We'll get the TV8 wireless on me, and maybe we'll get some in-stand interviews there.
Bad snap. Glenn comes down with it, though. He's going to have to run. Now looking to throw it somewhere. And does. Almost caught, and that would have been a first down, possibly.
And we've got flags on the field.
Now, let's see. There had to be some ineligible receivers downfield in that case. So the pass was intended for Kevin Rankin. And the youngster is down injured along the sideline. Well, ineligible receiver downfield, probably ineligible receivers, plural in that case, is the call. With a minute and 20 to go, but again, a youngster from the Beechcroft team, it looks like, is shaken up on the sideline, on the Beechcroft sideline, down at about the 35.
And we'll stay on that.
Just out of your picture, there it is. Let's see if we can find out who that injured young man is. That's Mike Simon.
The defensive end, the young man who ran the touchdown in before.
That's right. Ran in a fumble recovery for the last Beechcroft touchdown of the game with 3 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the game. Hard to tell at this point just what the nature of the injury is. Well, it's been a shocker all the way tonight. This was expected to be a Beechcroft rout, basically, or at worst it would have been a close game, but Brookhaven burst out on top early, scoring the first 3 touchdowns of the ball game before Beechcroft could get on the board, and the Beechcroft Cougars have just never recovered. Next week, coming up, we've got Worthington at Upper Arlington, the annual grudge match between 2 powerful football schools. And that'll be our pleasure to bring that to you next week on the TV8 High School Football Game of the Week. Now they're looking at Mr. Simon's leg, it looks like, and they're going to carry him off the field. Looks to be in a bit of pain.
Not taking any chances with Mike Simon. Hey, Paul, this is only the 3rd game of the season. This Cougar team will be back. And very well facing Brookhaven and Cooper Stadium for the City League Championship
very well
game.
Be. So it'll be Beechcroft football. And Wilson wants it all again on first down, throwing it deep. It is incomplete, tipped out there. And let's see who got a hand on it. It looks like it might have been Damon Kimbrough got a hand on it for Brookhaven. And that stops the clock with 1 minute 14 seconds to go. As you get a good look at Frankie Wilson. And also Dwayne King. And you can expect Wilson to just go back to the air again. Wilson under some pressure, throwing it deep again, intended for, it's going to be picked off. And coming the other way with it is Glenn, and Glenn with his 2nd interception on the night. And down he goes, brought down by Tom Cochran. It was intended for Tony Manyfield, but Glenn stepped in front of him and picked it off. Terry Glenn. Let's watch it again. Just airing it out. Good strong arm by Wilson. And there's Tony Glenn coming down with the football for the 2nd time tonight. Terry Glenn. I say Tony Glenn, I mean Terry Glenn comes down with the interception. And there was a penalty flag also on the return. And this was against Brookhaven, so that's going to put the ball back inside the 10-yard line. That's going to be academic, though. They'll start the clock now. Under a minute to play. Ball spotted on the 9-yard line, and Brookhaven will just take its time coming out of the huddle. The Bearcats have got this one won and may indeed have had it won since early in the first quarter. Straight ahead stuff to keep the clock moving. Tim Miller is in there at quarterback, and he carried the football. Tim Miller, the sophomore. Clock continues to run down to the 15-second mark. It'll be the first loss of the year for Beechcroft. Beechcroft will drop to 2-1. Brookhaven will improve its record to 2-1. As time continues to run down, they won't have to get another play off. The clock runs out. And it's a big upset here tonight at Beechcroft. The final score was Brookhaven 48, Beechcroft 28. And Beechcroft will have a problem now. Well, this was not actually a game that will count in the league standings, but boy, they're going to be licking their wounds for some time to come. A rout for Brookhaven over Beechcroft. Brookhaven, the visiting team. We'll be back with the post-game interview and the stats and all the rest after this. At Beechcroft tonight, it was all Bearcats. The Brookhaven Bearcats 48, the Beechcroft Cougars 28. Let's go down to the field now, where Munch is standing by with Coach Greg Miller and a bunch of happy Brookhaven Bearcats.
Thank you, Coach Miller. One thing right off the bat, your game plan this evening, sir.
Well, the game plan is to win the game, score more points than they could.
And you definitely did that. Now, were you surprised about the way the guys were fired up this evening, or how did you get them fired up? I saw Nate Evans out there early getting the guys pumped up, but your part in that role, sir.
Well, we never have any problems getting pumped up for Beechcroft. It's a great rivalry we've got going. The thing I was surprised with was probably everybody else was the number of points scored. We've played them for 4 years now, and we've only scored a total of 18 points in those 4 years, so come out with 48 points, needs to say we're pleased.
Well, we are pleased also. Now, something else I'd like to point out before the game, and we say this respectfully, gentlemen, people from the dispatch, people from the TV stations, people from the SMP said, you know what, this looks like a good game, but it's going to be a Beechcroft victory, and you definitely turned that one around. But now last year, Wilbert Brown on offense, Tyrone Abington on defense, you've definitely replaced those gentlemen with some wonderful, wonderful young men offensively and defensively. Your thoughts on this team?
Well, that's what I've tried to tell everyone all along, that you know, we groom players to replace players every year, and well, we've got so many kids that can do the job this year. If somebody has a bad game, we got somebody else to take over for them. So that we got a lot of people that can do the job.
You know, and it was interesting too, of course, Jason Gwynn playing his usual stellar game as all the players. Tony Gwynn got into the act a little bit too. But sir, what do you see down the line for your Brookhaven Bearcats as the 1990 season progresses?
Well, we're hoping we can win the rest of them and get in the state playoffs.
Well, we hope the same for you. Gentlemen, I'm going to say this. I'm not going to show my age and say I love you like sons, but I will say that I love you like you're my brothers, and you are. Congratulations to you, Coach. Congratulations to the Bearcats. Back to Paul.
All right, thanks, Munch. The statistics now, we'll have a look at those, and we'll show you some of the dominance that Brookhaven established, at least on the ground today, but it also will show you that since there's not that much of a difference in total yards, that Brookhaven really did a good job of taking advantage of the turnovers tonight, and they turned 4 turnovers into touchdowns tonight. First down, 16 for Brookhaven, 8 for Beechcroft, 199 yards on the ground for Brookhaven, compared to just 43 for Beechcroft, and it was Ernest Perry with most of those for Brookhaven. Passing tonight, it was Wilson a little bit more effective than was Marlon Kerner, but both of those gentlemen threw for 2 touchdowns tonight, and again the total yards with 302 to 209. Not quite 100 yards difference between the two teams. And the penalties and yards, quite a few penalties for Brookhaven tonight, but as it turned out, it didn't hurt them that much. And there you look at the turnover margin, 6 for Beechcroft tonight, and again 4 of those resulting directly in Brookhaven touchdowns. The time of possession for Brookhaven, 27-32, 20-38, 20-28 rather for Beechcroft. And even though the turnovers helped Brookhaven a lot tonight, they still did later in the ball game, not so much early on, but later in the ball game did do a good job of sustaining some drives. Now our Byers Chevrolet offensive players of the game. First of all, for Brookhaven, Ernest Perry, the running back, 127 yards tonight, 2 touchdowns. For Beechcroft, Tony Minifield. Tony Minifield had an excellent night. He caught a lot of balls tonight, caught 1 for a touchdown. One of them was a long touchdown catch. I'm looking at my notes for that right now, but Tony Minifield had an excellent night. Now the defensive players of the game. For Team Logos Sportswear, for Brookhaven, Jason Gwynn, and on a lot of tackles tonight. You saw him nail quarterback Wilson for several sacks tonight. Jason Gwynn, an excellent night for Brookhaven. For Beechcroft, it was Tyrone Hairston, the defensive player of the game. This week's TV8 high school football game has been presented exclusively by the Byers family of automotive dealerships. When it comes to value, service, selection, and price, at Byers, we've got you covered. Well, for the entire TV8 crew, for Mark Munch Bishop, I'm Paul Cox. Thanks for joining us.